forgotten something.
Um,
I
my
don't.
life.
I would never forget your life, Pete.
But you have, however, forgotten again. You still haven't sent the parcels.
I know. Okay, but guess what? I thought about them today. And you know why I thought about them today? Because I'm getting your Christmas gift sorted.
Oh, for God's.
So you're going to get like such a big amount of stuff.
Well, just I would say hold off for now. Hold off for now.
Okay, so you have a place to put it all. Yes. Because some of it's
No, not even.
for.
No, no, not even just that I have a place to put it all.
Hmm.
Close.
Yeah,
The
it's true.
house. The
Well, that's what I
house.
mean. That's what I'm
Yeah,
talking about. Yeah. Because
yeah. I
all
know you
most.
are, but
I think all of it is for your house. It's for
I
you,
think it
but you know
probably
what I
is. I
mean.
think it
Yeah.
probably is. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's just. Yeah, I was just
uh,
gonna say, just hold off anyway, because obviously you can. Just, I'll give you the new address, and then you
yes.
can just send it direct. Yes, I just did Satoru Water there. Yeah, of
Yes, you
course I
did.
did.
You did.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Oh, God, it's really warm in here. Why is it warm? It's cold outside. Here. Here, let me
Yeah, it is. No, the temperature has majorly dropped in the last 20 minutes here.
Ooh, and though because of where we're located, the wind is insane.
Yo. Hello, Nana.
Howdy, Nana. Um, talking about the weather, my favorite subject, apparently. Uh,
Well, this is what keep reiterating to you. You are now very British. You've embraced British culture because the first thing you do is talk about the weather to me.
it's insane. I never thought I would talk about the weather. I wouldn't. I never thought half the stuff I do I would ever do. And in fact, so every year I still do Thanksgiving and I invite random friends that I've met
Yep.
since I've been here. It's 10 years of
Hmm.
being here. Um and this year one of the couples is not going to be here, so they asked me if I could postpone it a couple of days and I was like, "Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine." Cuz that's the whole point of Thanksgiving is friends.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like it would be boring if it, I don't know. It's just the whole point of it. So I'm like, "Yeah, no problems." And then the male half of the couple was like, "Wow, Kylie, do you remember when you first got here? All the food you would cook was so like rich and like he's like it was beautiful and it tasted wonderful, but it was so decadent." I was like, "It's American." And he was like, "You have refined your cooking to like so much since you've been here." And I was like,
Mm,
"It's true. Like the British palate and the Irish palate compared to the American palate is
so different, isn't it?
worlds difference." Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. See, now for me, there's only one thing that I would take in America over anything else in the
What's that?
UK, and it is minimal. Like, and I
Okay.
mean minimal because we can get some really good ones here as well.
What's that?
But USDA beef is
Oh,
immense, but it is so close to Aberdeen
I
Angus
was
that
gonna
it's
say.
barely any difference.
Mm-hmm. Being
But USDA is incredibly good.
I was gonna say, being from Texas, obviously, I'm a very much a proponent of USDA meat because it is amazing beef. It's what's for dinner. That's the tagline, by
Hmm.
the way. Um, but since I've been here, yes, Scottish and Irish beef is they're
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm starting to get really sick of these memes that are going around of like British people don't know how to cook.
Oh, I
Get
know.
stuffed. Get stuffed. No,
I
we
know.
just use good ingredients. You don't need much.
The thing is, I think they base it on like old timey stereotypes, like and
Hmm.
regional stereotypes where they eat like
Yes, they
eels
do.
and stuff. Because not
Yeah,
everybody
that
eats jellied eels or whatever.
jelly deals are disgusting. Ugh.
I would give them a chance, but I don't think I would like them. Uh, but I
Well, if
mean,
you've been anywhere near a slug, then you know exactly what they look
yeah.
and
See,
smell and taste like.
I'm funny about slimy textures.
There you go. You won't like it, then I can
Yeah.
guarantee it because they are the slimiest of slimes.
I can't eat oysters for that reason. I'm sure they taste wonderful, but or raw oysters rather. But what was I saying? Yeah, but
Yeah,
no,
not for me.
you can't freaking beat a Sunday roast. You just can't. And gravy? Mm,
Yeah, how dare someone ever turn around and say that gravy's rank? It's just brown water. Get out of it.
whatever. Although
Get the hell out of it.
Although I do love the American gravy, which one of my friends calls cat stick, which is like thanks, but it is it's peppered gravy, which is made with a milk base. It's just creamy gravy. Oh, it's so good. It's like a French. It's based on French style.
Oh, so yeah, okay, I get what you mean. It's
There's
like
a
it's more
freaking
of a sort.
gravy.
It's more of the like an actual sauce rather than gravy.
Pete, we're on a video game podcast talking about gravy. Do you realize that?
Look, we spent the last few weeks talking about movies,
It's true, but even that has
so
more of a relevance.
I don't
Oh,
care. This is a pre-show for a reason. Hello,
that's
everyone.
true. Yes, that is true. Also, look what I got. Can you see it?
That is Hennessy.
Yes.
Very nice.
Which I've never had, but someone gave me a bunch of their minis. This is like super old. Probably from the 90s.
Yeah, couldn't tell
even.
by it.
Yeah.
What's the proof? So first of all, what's the proof and what's the year?
Let's see.
Because like with
Oh, it's
Hennessy
off.
is like
The sticky part's there, but the back is gone.
oh right, okay,
Label's gone.
disappointing.
Yeah.
It's fine because like half the thing about Hennessy or things like that, it's like whiskey and wine gets better with age.
Like myself.
I don't know about probably, but for me, I'm just getting disgracefully old.
No, there's no such thing. Aging gracefully. Yeah, no, there's just nothing on here. The label got ripped off. Aw, disappointing.
Oh well.
I'll have
Let me
to
know what
check
you
out.
think anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'm about to try it now because I've never had Hennessy. I'm poor
It's
white
been a long
trash.
time since
Oh.
I've drunk this stuff before, so you know.
Ooh, it
Yeah.
smells nice. Well, yeah,
Mm.
Pete, you don't drink.
Not anymore, but like even before that, it was a long time since I'd had it. So
Oh.
I always remember this, right? So there was a person I grew up with just down the road from me, and like their parents had a liquor cabinet,
Yeah.
as you do, but it wasn't locked. You know, it was
Yeah.
just a little
Nice.
little section in the corner
Yeah.
of the room that was just like a unit. And I always remember, and I'll try and see if I can find the bottle for you, but they had something similar to like Hennessy.
Right?
It was called Remy Martin,
Oh, yes, I've
and
seen
it
that
comes in
bottle.
an
It's like
amazingly cool
fancy.
bottle.
Yeah, it's like super fancy. Yeah.
Oh, it's proper fancy. I looked
Yeah.
it up like a few years later, and I was like, "Sorry, how much? What?"
Well, let's see. Am I a fancy folk? Let's find out. I'm used to that Texas rock gut. I'm actually not, because in Texas we didn't drink. Because evangelicals don't drink publicly. They drink in the privacy of their bedrooms with the door locked and the lights out because it's a sin to God.
But yeah, Jesus was, you know.
Oh, that's nice. First of all, that's very nice. I get it. And second of all, yeah, it's like way smooth. Like there's no, I mean, it's fire. Like it's the good
No,
fire.
it's fire going down, but it's so
It's
smooth going.
that-
Like when you drink it.
Okay, so that, yep, I get you, Hennessy. But then
Oh dear, I think you've got a new tipple now for something. Oh Christ.
Speaking of Christ, but yeah, I actually brought that up. I was like, but Jesus drank wine, and then all the preachers everywhere, all the Baptist preachers everywhere that were annoyed with me because I always asked them questions, were like, back in the days, in the Roman days, they didn't have healthy water, so they watered the wine down, and so it was more water.
Crap.
Yeah, now I know that's all crap. I was like, oh, okay, so I won't drink. Anyway, there's my story.
Well, there I was about to say, you know, the whole analogy is that obviously the cup of wine is the blood of Christ, and that guy must have been absolutely ripped the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
good old classic drunk Christian jokes. Gotta love them.
I don't know how we got on that. We were talking about gravy, then we were talking about Jesus, and now I'm drinking Hennessy, and I'm supposed to sip it. I'm going to sip it.
Yeah.
That was
Also,
very nice, though.
give
I
it
do
give
like
it a
that.
swish as well. Make sure that the oxygen reacts with it a little bit.
Ooh, maybe that's what I need.
Yes.
To do. Yeah, because that was
It's like
nice.
with a cognac or something like that. You do have to let it react.
That's true. I want to get one of those fancy, like, what are they called?
Decanter.
That's it, decanter.
I knew what you were going to talk about because my parents have got one, like
Ah,
a decorative one in their bedroom, and I've nearly broke it a few times. Well, it used to be on the window ledge on the like in the front room.
Oh my gosh, that's dangerous.
I know, but it's every time you try and open the windows with a net curtain up, it's like, yeah, that's not going to work.
Oh dear. Oh
So they
goodness.
moved it, thankfully.
All right, chat. I'm giving you 3 more minutes because we've only had Nana show up.
The tweet has
It's
gone out,
okay.
just so you know.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't forget this time.
Yeah, that's what they all say. No, I'm kidding.
No, I actually did for about a few minutes because we were
Yeah. Talking about gravy
and Christ.
and Christ and Hennessy.
It was
Video
great.
games. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
it
and
just
we've
sounds
got.
like a struggle session.
Oh gosh. Sounds like a skill issue. No, for
Oh,
those.
don't, because my mate in our group, he's told me that a few times just to try and wind me up.
Yeah.
I've just been like, oh, why did I fall off there? It
It's
sounds like a skill issue. It's like,
Yeah.
shut up. Shut up. Git.
Oh goodness. Well, we got a very cool is probably not the right word, show coming up, an intense show.
We've got a show.
We've got show come up, but it's good subjects. Everybody knows what we're going to talk about. Unless you're
Well, yeah, if you've seen the tweet, you'll see where it's a bumper Microsoft edition of the news.
Oh, okay.
As stated specifically.
Well, I can't see the tweet because I'm not on Twitter, and I'm so happy not to be on Twitter.
Well, I got that close from reactivating my account just because. But I'm like, no, don't do it.
I mean, it depends. Like, if you have good, healthy conversations on there, and you have good, healthy, like, friend group and stuff like that, I don't see anything wrong with it.
I did, but, like, I just don't know if I want to go back.
Yeah. For me, it was not good. But that's it's a personal take. So I don't, like, if you're out there and you're on Twitter, or whatever it's called, herbs. X gonna give it to you. I don't.
It's just about to do the same thing.
Oh, it makes me think of Deadpool. Did you know they played that in Deadpool, Pete? Did you know that?
Yes, I did, because it's the X-Force.
Yep. Oh, I love Deadpool.
Great test recording. Good
Oh, great. Oh, it's going to be a lonely night. Oh, well. Okay.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Right, I'll be back in a second. I'm just going to check this fella's van.
I will talk to an empty chat room. Hello, empty chat room. Hello, chat. How's it going? This is my excited voice. I will say, Hennessy's good. The only thing I need to try now is Cristal, which I think is champagne. And then I'll know if I'm a fancy person. I am not a fancy person. Yes, having lots of money does not make you a fancy person. I am still... I was going to say a redneck. I don't really think I'm a redneck. Because I don't have, like, redneck.
You're definitely not a redneck.
Yeah. But I'm a country
You need to go out in the sun.
Yeah, get that redneck. I am a country bumpkin, though. But I'm not a redneck. I never really fit in with that group.
No, you don't strike me as that sort of redneck,
Now, there is an overlap of being a country girl because there were things that I liked. Just like our version of bonfires, which is not the Northern Irish version of bonfires. Which is...
What do you mean? Like actually setting a whole friggin' forest on fire?
Oh, do you mean here or there?
There.
No, we just got in our chairs and we just sat around a big old giant fire and threw things in it, and they exploded. And then you kind of like, that, I don't know. It's just so country, but yeah, there's not a lot to do in the country. And you just sit around.
No, that's why most of them have kids.
That's exactly why.
It's basically the same as here.
Oh gosh. Like, I'm bored. Let's do it. Okay. We're 15. Okay.
Just make sure Jesus isn't watching.
Oh, I could say some things about we're going to keep this slightly PG.
Will we?
Yes, we must try. Maybe our audience will come back.
We must try, but yes, possibly. I don't know. I think we need to discuss that because, well, yes. I've let it slip a few too many times recently.
Yeah, I know.
Without any real editing done.
I know. We need to tighten that up. Oh my gosh, Peter, I was about to say tighten that S up.
We've got to lock that shit down.
Okay, we should probably get started. I don't think we're gonna have anyone join us.
Maybe not, but it's
Thanks,
fine. It's
guys.
fine. It's fine. Be fine.
Everybody hates me after last week.
Well, maybe everyone thought I was still sick.
Maybe.
I mean, I still am, but not that bad.
You're so much better. You're so much better.
I
Which
know,
I'm
I
very
can
glad
actually
about.
laugh without
Yeah.
feeling like I'm going to die.
Dear,
I
oh
will
dear.
update the audience on that one because it got worse.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah. All
Oh
right.
dear.
Well, I'm going to
Okay.
start recording.
And it's 178, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. I didn't even have to tell you this week, luckily.
Only because it was still in last week's name convention.
Okay. That's good. Good.
Eh.
Oh boy. Why the oh boy? I'm not sure. I'm confused. Tell me more. All right. Anyway, we'll get started. So
Away
let's start
we
in
go.
3, 2.
Welcome to Rapid Reviews Radio Podcast, episode 178. I am your co-host, Kiley Wilde. I am joined by my ever-present co-host, Pete Beckett.
Yo.
And if you can't tell, Pete is sounding so much better this week than he was last week.
Yes, I am. Thank goodness. Turned out, it wasn't just a cold.
Oh dear.
I actually had COVID.
The big C.
First
Oh
time,
no, that's not the big C.
3.5 years. I dodged it for 3.5 years and finally got me.
Yeah, but didn't we kind of theorize that you were one of the first people to get it? You got it before it was cool.
Yeah, I was definitely.
I mean, you were
there.
just bad sick or had it. Yeah.
Yeah, for the first time in ever, I was on the ground level. You know, I was like, call me the founder of like Stadia. I was on the founders edition. I'm not a super spreader, I promise.
No, but you're in line at 2 a.m. standing outside that COVID store. Open.
It's like, hurry up, I need my COVID. Yeah, I can tell everyone. I can tweet it out.
First.
Yeah, I'm just going to hit up every YouTube comment saying first.
Oh, gosh, exactly. Well, since we're already on the subject, Pete, why don't we just go ahead and go for it? How's your week been?
Kind of crap.
Yeah?
Well, not really done a lot because, well, I say I've not done a lot. I've not been able to leave the house as such. Well, I can, but I've chosen not to.
Yeah.
But I had Thursday and Friday off of work as well because that's just how it was.
Yeah.
So I've been playing an absolute buttload of Street Fighter 6. But not Street Fighter 6 as you think I might be.
Yeah.
I am that close from story full completion.
I am very interested to hear your take on that, since you did avoid it.
Yeah, I've avoided it. I'm about 18 hours into it now. I've got probably about 3 fights left to go. And those fights can suck one, because they are terrible. So I'm not going to give too much away about where I am, but it's like the final few matches you actually have to fight, and then you're basically done with the story.
Right.
But the difficulty level has gone from being not very challenging to well over the top and stupid.
Oh my gosh.
The difficulty curve went not even just like that, it just went like that.
Oh my gosh.
Visual cue, it was like full 180 degree, like full upward slope. It was like, or 90 degrees, sorry. It was ridiculous.
Oh, wow. Was that intentional?
Yes, I think it is. I think it's really poorly designed, actually.
Right.
And I'm not going to give too many full thoughts away because I want to save it for the review, but
yeah.
My initial thoughts are, why was everyone raving about this? This was bloody terrible.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
It was, I slogged through it just to say
gosh.
I've done it, but it was quite bad.
Oh, dear.
It's really bad, in fact. It's so boring. It really is.
Ugh. Well, we're definitely gonna.
But I will get to that in the full review in due time.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
But what else have I been doing other than that? Not really. Ah, yes. Separate Ways came out.
Oh yes, we did want to talk about that. So did you
Yes.
dip into it?
Yes. Not very long because Street Fighter took hold. I'll be
Okay.
honest.
Well.
But I've played about 30 minutes of it, and it's interesting the new mechanics that they've added to it.
Right. Okay.
So, from what I've seen so far, obviously you play as Ada.
Uh-huh.
You're basically going through the story as if it's all happening at the same time that it's happening to Leon and Ashley. Um, you meet up with several characters that are in the main story, including Luis.
Very cool.
And Ada's combat style is really cool,
Good.
really really fun. It's similar to Leon's, but it's a lot
Right.
more intense.
Well, I'm
She
not.
also go
She's one of my. She's one of my favorite characters. Side characters. I mean, I say
on.
side characters, and I'm glad to hear that they've fleshed her out. No pun intended. But
Uh,
yeah.
they have added a new mechanic to it as well.
What was
The
that?
ability to use the grappling gun.
Oh, well, okay.
Even in combat.
All right.
And to be fair, I never played Separate Ways on the PS2 version, so this is
Yeah.
actually brand new to me. Because I only ever played the GameCube version.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree, Nana. Her voice is so annoying. It's
I,
so expressionless, but
I was
the
gonna say
character model is unbelievably
yes.
good.
Yes, I love her entire look on the remake. But yeah,
Yeah.
it isn't even that her voice is annoying to me. It's her voice actress is so
There's
unenthusiastic. She's just like
Yeah, the
I'm
delivery of
doing
the
this
lines
now.
is just not very enthusiastic
Nope.
at all. Like
Nope.
I, I got that impression in the main game, but it's
Mhm.
just I think they've tried to correct it to some degree in the DLC, but it's like it's still there or thereabouts, and it's
Yeah.
like, and considering it's 5 hours as well, I'm not sure it's going to be that fun to
Woo.
listen to for
I
five
was gonna
hours.
say 5 hours is a very long time. Mhm.
I think they changed it up to Lily Gal because of
Mhm.
the motion capture.
Yeah,
So the
that was the only reason.
Leon's model is based on the main actor who voiced and did motion capture. It's the same with everyone. That's why they changed up Ashley as well.
Yeah, who actually I think looks good.
Her character model in that game is just so good.
I really like it. I do.
I think all the character models in the main game are just incredibly well done anyway.
Mhm.
Like, and you know how unbelievably hesitant I was
Yes.
about the game getting remade,
Yes.
but it's I'm gonna say it now. It's my game of the year so far, without a doubt.
Ooh. Well,
Even before Street Fighter, Street Fighter's incredible, but my God, is RE4 remake
that
amazing?
that is wild. That's great. I too have
Mm,
my game of the year as well. So
uh, is it a certain Bethesda? Oh wait, no.
yeah, we'll talk about that later, and you'll figure out
Yeah,
why. That ain't
yes, of
it.
course. But anyway, how's your week been? Because
Well,
I want to talk about what you did on Tuesday.
uh-huh. Ooh, it sounds so mysterious. No, but I several things have happened. I started on my crashed in workroom, so that's good. Progress is
Hey,
happening.
finally.
Finally got to it. And then on Tuesday, I was on. I was gonna say former guest. I don't like saying former guest. Previous guests.
Yes.
Middle-aged gamer guy, or Mags, as I call him, show over on his channel on Tuesday, and it was a lot of fun, and a lot of our chat was there, and I thank you so much for coming over and giving your support. Pete was there, Nana was there, Brent was there. It was so nice. It had a great time. It was great fun. It was weird being out of my element. Um, so that was new.
Probably
Um,
also felt a bit weird having to hold off the drinking until after 9.
I was like trying to space that out. In fact, I think that is when I cracked open the bottle about halfway through.
Mm.
Um, and I was just like, okay, I can't do this. Oh my gosh, I forgot to drink. Because I was rambling a bunch. But we got to talk
No,
about.
you weren't. You were fine.
I felt like I was rambling, but
You weren't.
we got to talk about so many games, and the funny thing was, most of the stories we had mentioned on Sunday, so I was well informed already. And as always, Mags himself is just a wonderful host. He's very welcoming. His co-host Dave is always nice and polite, always kind. And his
Mm,
community, they are so wonderful. I've mentioned it before. Definitely
yeah.
go over there, hang out with them for a bit. The community is great. They're very welcoming, and they're funny. They don't
Yeah,
always get
they
my jokes, but that's okay. Most people don't. So
no, they were good fun. Like
they
the
are.
chat was interacting really well
Mhm.
together. Like,
Mhm.
our community and Mags' community
Oh
seemed to get along
yes.
quite well, which was great. We were very welcomed
Yes.
by their chat, which is fantastic.
Love
And like you
it.
said, Mags and Dave,
Mhm.
they come across as really genuine, decent people. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I'm glad they made you feel welcome at least as well. So
Yep.
you know,
Oh, and little secret, Mags is the same exact way he is on screen as he is off screen.
yeah, yeah, we've had small interaction with him pre and post,
Yep.
and yeah, he's exactly the same.
Plus, Pete, you
And
met him in
I've met him
person.
in
Yeah,
person, and he's
exactly.
exactly that way. He's very high energy, even in person.
Yep. Yep. It's so
Yeah,
funny.
but it was
One day I
awesome.
will get over there. I do plan on doing a lot more cons coming up.
Yeah.
Now that things are getting more back to normal around here, which it's so weird for anyone who doesn't live on this island. We were hit so hard by the lockdown, and here we are.
hmm
What are we on, year 4, 3 or 4, coming out?
we're
Coming out
still
of it.
in. We're coming up to 4.
Yeah, and we're just now getting back on track, but it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful to
Mm.
to be getting. Yeah. Oh yeah. But anyway, so this episode, and I'm not gonna tell you why my accent is back, but it's gonna be back for a little while.
Because you started doing it on Tuesday.
No, but I've been listening to a podcast that I used to listen to religiously, and they are from West Virginia, which is just a very similar Southern draw as I have, and so it's just in my head. But today's episode is gonna be good because it's about Microsoft, guys. It's about Microsoft. If you know anything, you know how much I love Microsoft. But they done broke to my heart. But I'm gonna,
Well, we'll see.
we'll see.
We
But
will see.
yeah.
But we aren't going to start off with just Microsoft news.
Okay, Pete, I'm tossing it over to you. You start us off in the right direction.
Okay. I will start off with this quote. I am sorry.
Oh goodness, that could be so many things, but go ahead.
Unity partially walks
Yep.
back on controversial monetization plans.
Yep.
Well, they
Yay.
say controversial, more like stupid. But
Poor.
let's get to that. That's
Mm.
editorializing. I'm not going to try and do that. Anyway, howdy, Brett. You're right, mate.
Oh,
Right, so,
bueno.
anyway, Unity has partially walked back on controversial monetization plans for its popular game engine. Last week, the software development company announced plans to charge developers every time a game that uses Unity engine is installed. Yeah,
So
that's
stupid.
obviously, you know. So, starting in January 2024, the proposed Unity runtime fee would apply to games that would meet the minimum revenue threshold and have passed a minimum lifetime install count. Um, Following a huge backlash from game developers, Unity later issued an apology and said it planned to make changes to the policy, which it would communicate in the following days. Um, on Friday, the company detailed these changes. Firstly, Unity confirmed it will no longer be charging per install fees for those using Unity Personal or
Right.
Plus plans. The new Unity runtime fee will only apply to Unity Pro and Unity Enterprise.
Which is still stupid, but less stupid.
Yes, we can get into that in a minute. So, more importantly, the fees will no longer apply to existing games. Quote, only those created with or upgraded to the long term support LTS version, releasing in 2024 or later, currently referred to as the 2023 LTS, will be impacted, wrote Unity's Mark Whitten. For those games, the fee is now only applicable after the game has crossed two thresholds: 1 million USD in gross revenue, so that's US dollars,
Mm-hmm.
trailing 12 months, and 1 million initial engagements, which is kind of similar, but obviously they'd had it across all of the plans.
Yeah.
I quote, "I want to start with this. I am sorry," Mark Whitten wrote. Was it Mark? Yeah, Mark Whitten. We should have spoken with more of you, and we should have incorporated more of your feedback before announcing our new runtime fee policy. Our goal with this policy is to ensure we can continue to support you today and tomorrow, and keep deeply investing in our game engine. You are what makes Unity.
Oh my gosh.
God.
Also, hi,
Oh,
Mike.
sorry.
Oh.
I'll get. I should probably stop laughing. I'll get to that anyway. You are what makes Unity great, and we know. And we know we need. I can't get through this without laughing because it's so dumb. And we know we need to listen and work hard to earn your trust. We have heard your concerns, and we are making changes in the policy we announced to address them.
Can I talk yet? I want
Yes,
to
you
discuss
can.
this. Oh, thanks for subscribing, Mike.
Thank you,
Yay!
Mike.
Yay! Thank
Well,
you.
cheers.
Shout out to Mike. Mike Tindo, friend of the show. Uh, yeah, so I guess they just didn't do what every business has been taught to do from Business 101, which is you have to do focus groups. You have to do focus groups, people. Anytime you start a new venture, you can be pig-headed and say, I ain't listening to nobody, and go do your own thing. But then you can't be upset at the results that happen, or you have to reverse course, do a U-turn, as they say it in politics, to make the people happy, which you've lost social credit by having to do that. And if you would have just done your market research and your focus groups before making this decision, you wouldn't have lost all of this social cred. So,
No, you wouldn't have done. But I will say the exact same thing that I did in the Turn-Based Cynics Discord when all of this was coming out. I posted up a GIF of someone with a graph that said "F around and find out." I
yeah,
said this is probably a live image of their next meeting,
I
and it wasn't wrong. They
nope.
clearly effed around. They found out that people didn't like it. So I would say good on them for reverting it back, but no, bad Unity for even thinking this was good enough in the first place.
I
We shouldn't be
just
commending and saying
yeah.
well done for walking back that.
You're
No,
right. You're
don't
right.
be such a crap company for doing that in the first place.
I mean,
You tried to. I'm sorry, but you tried to sneak this out at midnight.
mm-hmm.
And thinking that nobody was ever going to find out about it. The internet doesn't forget, and we don't. Some people will just go, yeah, Unity's great
Yeah.
again. No, I will. I'm sorry, no.
For people that
I
love
now
Elon Musk.
I'm now getting to that point where any game that's probably built with Unity, I might not even bother playing it now.
That is so many games, though, Pete. That's what's insane
I
to
didn't even
me.
watch. I didn't even watch the Lion King 20, like the
Ugh.
new one. I didn't even care about it. So
No,
you
I
know,
don't. I don't care enough about it. But here's the thing. I've lost my thought.
brilliant.
But I'm just flabbergasted that they did this, and to start with, you know what? No, that's what my original thought was. All this is greed, and what I don't understand. I don't understand corporate greed. First of all, like I said
Neither
a
do I.
million times, I'm a socialist. Not only am I a socialist, I'm a Trotskyist, which means I understand corporate greed even less. So I don't understand when we're in a time of cost of living has increased. I'd say artificially increased, if you ask me. The cost of living has increased. The average working man slash woman, people, the average working people, they're having to stretch their dollars or their monies further.
hmm
Why is all this corporate greed kicking in? There is no, you can't, what is it? You can't get blood from a turnip, I think is how the saying goes.
You can't get blood from a stone.
Or that, okay, see. But, same thing. But, yeah, I don't understand what the frick they were thinking. Like, most of the people that use Unity are indie developers. Indie developers are doing this on their own blood, sweat, and tears and money. They don't have big publishers and stuff like that. So I am just like flabbergasted at the fact that they did this from day one. But I am,
Hmm.
by the same token, I am glad that they are walking it back. To be fair.
Yeah. I'm glad that they're walking it back as well. It's probably the amount of backlash that they had that meant that they had to, and it just once again shows, that if people band together in the right way, we can enact change,
Mm-hmm.
but not by sending death threats, by
No,
actually being
right,
vocal and
right.
making our voices heard and opinions known. We can enact change again. The power is with the people, as it always is.
Absolutely. Pete is
I just wish
not
that we
wrong.
would have done this when it came to the freaking price increase, when it came to the Series X and the
Well,
PS5 games.
I wish we'd do this in everything. Again, socialist. Because it's true. If we all, the working class, well, okay, I'll try not to put my personal beliefs in
Yeah,
it. Humans, if we all humans banded together, we could enact change. And yes, this is proof, as are other things, that have happened in kind of a similar fashion. I do want to say, night, Mike.
yeah. Good night, Mike.
But yeah, I'm never going to be pleased about this. I'm as old as I am, as long as I've been around, I don't think I'll ever stop being shocked at the sheer greed that people display. I'm
No,
befuddled.
neither do I. I really don't get it either.
Yeah.
I've never understood why a company wants to be incredibly greedy and then wonder why their profits have gone down. Let me
That's
think. Maybe because you pissed away any goodwill that you've had.
that's the thing. Ugh.
Build up. If you build up relationships with
Mhm.
people, then you thrive out of it in a massive way. You know, look at Nintendo. They do some
I
pretty
mean,
shady business practices,
you're exactly right.
but they
Mhm.
look like they're on the
Mhm.
side of the consumer. So they do what they can. People are more wanting and willing to
Mhm.
support them.
Because
As a
they're
result of that, they just, you know, people will remember this. Like, some people on the
oh
internet
yeah.
will forget this. They'll forget this immediately after it happened. I won't.
It's like
Remember, I can recall stuff that happened 3 years ago that nobody else seems to remember.
okay, look, I do have to inject a personal opinion right quick. Sorry, tangent. And yes, Pete,
Crack on.
you're gonna disagree, and it's okay. It's okay to disagree with me on this. But I came to the UK about 10 years ago. About between 10 and 13 years. I don't know. Russell Brand, who's now in the news, was a very polarizing figure back then. He was gross and he creeped me out, and I didn't like what he did to that poor guy from Faulty Towers. I personally can't stand him. But over 10 years, he's refined his image and turned to some kind of like Christ like figure or whatever. Nobody nowadays seems to remember Russell Brand from 10 years ago.
I do, because he was a scumbag. He was then.
He was, and somehow people are like, oh, they're just out to get him. No, dude's always been a scumbag. There's video proof. Go back and watch. But that is.
Well, it is also the fact that I never liked him anyway. Like,
No.
I've only ever watched him in one film that I liked, and that was Get Him to the Greek, and that was only because the film was just generally funny
I was going to
anyway.
say it's a good film.
But
And
it's the fact that it plays off of his reputation completely anyway.
well, that's
You
what,
know
yeah. A couple of his characters he did over in the U.S. movies. I think he did a Judd Apatow movie or something like that. It was this
that was well, there
kind
was
of,
two of them. He did two Judd Apatow
yeah.
movies, which was Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Getting to the Greek.
Yeah, okay. And so like I didn't have any time for him back then. And I am sorry to bring that up because I know we're going to have fans out there who are like, "Oh no, Russell Brand's being stalked by the government or whatever." No.
No, I don't,
He's been
look.
a creep since day 1.
I He's a creep. I'm not
Yeah.
going to say that he isn't. I'm going to say that some of the stuff seems a little bit absurdist of the way that it's come out and the timing of things. Not to say that it's fully justified.
Yeah, like
You know,
I know that
it's
that's got nuance to it
it
and
has, but
that's
also
fine.
he deserves his day in court
He
like everyone
does.
else, and he's under the presumption of innocence for
Yeah.
me at the moment.
I'm going to
Innocent till proven guilty,
yeah, yeah, like don't get me
and how it should
wrong.
be.
that specifically, yes, he needs to be tried. That is the correct way through justice, blah, blah. Outside of that, he's a scumbag and I can't stand him.
Yeah, I never liked his comedy anyway. I didn't think
But
it was
my,
that funny.
no, I never liked it. But my point being, he's just mean. I don't like mean people. My point being, though, to bring this back around, as we lose various members of our audience, I'm sure, who regret subscribing now, is that people do forget. I don't know how they forget, but they forget. I don't forget. I'm like a freaking elephant. I think they say elephants have like a long memory. I'm also
Yeah,
really tall
elephants
and
have
big.
really good memories.
Yeah, so Unity, I wouldn't. They'll probably bounce back, and people will never remember. They'll be like, "Oh, that's what." Remember EA? EA was voted worst company, like 3 or 4 years running.
Hmm. And now they're a darling for everyone for some
People
reason because
still,
of the EA originals.
yeah, people are still like, "Oh, it's an EA product. I'm running to it," and I'm like, they killed The Sims. They ruined The Sims. They ruined Maxis, a company that I actually adored. It was probably my first company I adored before Bethesda. I was
They've
a
ripped
Maxis
out pretty
fangirl.
much every single company that they've bought.
Yeah. So people do forget, and so I will see. I think I'm going to predict now. I think Unity's going to bounce back and be just as strong.
They
So
will. They will. Let's not forget that what EA did to Visceral Games.
yeah,
Yeah, people forgot about that one when the Dead Space remake came out
yeah,
very quickly, didn't they?
yep.
I don't forget.
I never forget.
Anyway. So yeah, Unity have walked that back. It's about
Yeah,
time. It
yeah.
probably took them too long to do so, but I won't forget that they've done this. Neither will you.
Nope.
But many people will.
They will.
Speaking of things that people don't forget,
Oh no. What's
do
next,
you
Pete?
happen to do you happen to remember that when the Microsoft documentary came out, that they talked about a specific meeting that they had with a certain other Japanese company?
I do. I've also read the court documents.
Xbox's Phil Spencer was targeting a Nintendo acquisition in 2020. Leaked emails reveal.
To be fair, that was in the court documents from the Apple thing.
Oh, I know. I'm fully aware. I think a
Go
lot's been.
ahead, Pete.
We'll go over the story in a minute. Well, we'll go over the story properly.
Yes.
I think some people may have massively overreacted to this.
I think
Massively.
so. I think so only because I already knew about it. So for me, the
We
reactions
both
were,
did because
yeah,
obviously
because
you
you were,
told me
yeah,
about the court documents and you were
exactly.
sharing everything with it.
Yep. So for me, it's like this is not new, but I get that for people who didn't know about it, they're having a quite the emotional reaction. But go ahead,
True,
Pete.
but then again, like I said, I think people overreacted to it. I've got a fear, not a theory. I've got thoughts on it. Let's say.
Okay.
So, Microsoft's gaming boss Phil Spencer told colleagues in 2020 that he saw Nintendo as a key acquisition target.
Mhm.
In unredacted court documents published overnight, seemingly error, um,
Always.
Spencer discusses the potential Nintendo acquisition in the email conversation with Microsoft's executive vice president and chief commercial officer Takahashi Namuto. Wow, I said a Japanese name
You
correctly.
did. You did. Very good.
Um, while discussing a potential TikTok acquisition,
Ooh.
Namuto asked why Microsoft wasn't pursuing a company like Nintendo instead. Spencer replied, "This was exactly what he wanted." Quote, Takahashi, I totally agree that Nintendo is the prime asset for us in gaming, and today's gaming is our most likely path to consumer relevance, Spencer replied. I've had numerous conversations with Nintendo about tighter collaboration and feel like if any US company would have a chance with Nintendo, we are probably in the best position. The unfortunate, or fortunate for Nintendo, situation is that Nintendo is sitting on a big pile of cash. They have a board of directors that, until recently, has not pushed for any further increases in market growth or stock appreciation.
They don't need to.
Not technically correct, but carry on. Um, Spencer went on to say that former Microsoft board member Mason Morfitt, president of Valve Act, had been previously acquiring shares of Nintendo, and this could create opportunity for Microsoft. The execs also suggested that he believed Nintendo's future exists off of their own hardware, but claimed it would take a long time for the company to see that. Quote, without that catalyst, I don't see an angle to a near-term, mutually agreeable merger of Nintendo and Microsoft, he explained. And I don't think a hostile action would be a good move, so we're playing the long game. But our board of directors have seen the full write-up of Nintendo and Valve, and they are fully supportive on if either opportunity arises, as am I. Spencer concluded, at some point, getting Nintendo would be a career moment, and I honestly believe a good move for both companies. It's just taking a long time for Nintendo to see that the future exists off of their own hardware. A long time. The discussion took place around a year and a half before Microsoft announced its intentions to acquire Activision Blizzard.
Yes.
Of course, it's not the first time Microsoft are considering acquiring Nintendo, according to a 2021 report exploring the origins of Microsoft's console business. Nintendo, and this is a quote, laughed their asses off when approached by Microsoft regarding a possible buyout 20 years ago. Quote, the first company we reached out to buy was EA. They said, no thanks. Then Nintendo, recalled Microsoft's then head of business development, Bob McBreen, in an interview with Bloomberg. Steve made us go meet with Nintendo to see if they could consider being acquired, added Kevin Barkus, Xbox's then director of third-party relations. They just laughed their asses off. Imagine an hour of somebody just laughing at you. That was kind of how the meeting went. Microsoft proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard and been heavily scrutinized by regulators around the world. But anyway, let's not go into that one. I have theories and thoughts, but I want to hear your thoughts first.
Oh, mine are very quick. I think I love Phil, as we know, Father Phil Spencer.
Okay.
I think what can happen is you get so disconnected from the world around you when you're a CEO, when you're that far up, that you start to see these companies and stuff as almost like pawns on a chessboard or any game. Freaking Monopoly, hotels and Monopoly. You know what I mean? Just pick a game. They're no longer companies that people, emotionally invest in or have a loyalty brands, stuff like that. They're just, it's a piece of real estate and I want it. Because he's right. Like, yeah, if Microsoft had acquired Nintendo, that would be a massive win. So that's how Phil is seeing it. He's seeing it as a game, not as real life. This is my theory, by the way.
Yeah.
And I think that was a huge misstep. Again, this was in the leaked emails during the Apple versus Epic lawsuit.
Go back and listen to Redacted for privilege.
Always listen to that. Although I kept some of them out, but definitely go listen to it.
That was due to time constraints more than anything.
Yeah, well. I wasn't hiding things because Phil to me came across as very cool in that whole thing, but he did hint to that. Now from what I understand from the documents, they came to an agree about Azure or whatever, and cloud gaming instead. That's actually what eventually developed. I don't think Nintendo will ever be bought out. I just don't. Maybe I'm being kind of naive here because I've been wrong about everything having to do with Microsoft since day one, apparently. Me saying that the acquisition was going to go straight through because it was so classic and blah, blah, blah. And I was wrong. But I can't imagine anyone owning. It would be like imagining someone. I know that Sony went up for, acquisition not that long ago. And then, took that off the table. But it would be like someone owning PlayStation or someone owning the Xbox branch of Microsoft. I don't see Nintendo being bought out. That's insane to me, Maybe I'm wrong. I'm usually wrong. But it feels insane.
You're not wrong to some degree, But I
It's a
think
Japanese company.
yeah, you look, that doesn't necessarily mean that they aren't ripe for purchasing, because they
Yeah, but
are.
they're
Any company that floats themselves on the stock market has the ability to be bought out.
yeah, but Japanese companies are so insular. Like they want to, if they're going to be sold, they'll be sold to Japanese companies. Does that make sense? They're
You'd be
very.
wrong in that, I'm afraid to
Oh,
say,
really?
because
Is
actually
Sega?
there is a very small percentage of Nintendo that are owned by some people that people don't particularly tend to like, and that is the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund.
Yeah, but that's their shares, and yes, they buy up.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. If you are floating yourselves on the
I
stock market,
suppose
you
you're
have the
right.
ability to
Okay,
have your shares being bought out,
you're right.
because they did.
Yeah.
So if anyone ever wants to turn around and say, I don't like the public investment fund, boycott Nintendo then.
Yeah.
I can't, because I love Nintendo. I won't, I'm afraid to say, I won't boycott SNK either, because I love SNK as a company.
Yeah.
You just look. Every company has got shady skeletons in their closet
Oh,
anyway. You
yes.
know where the money comes
100%.
from and how they produce their
Ooh.
equipment is, you know, let's not say that you know Apple are great for what they do, because they're using
No.
cobalt from mines that's been mined by child slaves. So they're not
Right.
the greatest company. So you can't talk about boycotting companies when you're tweeting off your iPhone.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
There is
Uh,
no pure altruistic company. There
No,
isn't. I'm
there,
sorry.
there, there isn't.
I
Someone
want to
has to
believe
cut a
it.
corner somewhere.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway, I have some thoughts about this
Yes.
particular thing,
That's what I
because I
want to hear.
think a lot of this has been particularly overblown.
I definitely agree with that, but I still want to hear. I want to hear your thoughts.
Okay, my two things here of why I think this is overblown
Hmm.
are within the email itself,
Yeah.
actually, and they come at the very top of the email when you look at, first of all, the time that it was sent,
Okay.
which was 12:03 a.m.
Was that?
And the subject of the email is Ori Random Thought.
Oh goodness. Yeah.
This is not exactly the smoking gun that everyone thinks it is. This is just Phil Spencer just talking. It's just off the cuff nonsense.
Sitting at
This is
home
just him
drinking.
talking round and yeah, this is just him with a glass of wine, decompressing after a long day of
Playing Tetris.
trying to buy Zenimax.
Yes.
Because you have to remember, this is in 2020 when
Yeah.
they're in the throes of trying to buy Zenimax.
Yep.
You know, so this, because he even states it in the bloody email, says about Warner Brothers and Zenimax, and look what happened. They bought Zenimax.
Yep.
So I'm not sure what everyone was thinking here. The fact that this doesn't necessarily mean that he wants to go and acquire them. No, this could mean that he wanted to have a better partnership with them. Look what's happened for the last 2 years, 3 years, when it's come to Nintendo and Microsoft.
Yep.
They've had a better partnership. That
Yep.
doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to go out and buy them, are they? No, they're
No.
not. Because the minute that you even think about buying Nintendo, oh, you think the FTC came down you pretty hard for Activision Blizzard? Oh no, the monopoly would really come out
That's
when you try and buy another console manufacturer.
that is
Yeah, no, that
exactly.
ain't
Yep.
happening.
Yep. Yep. That's exactly what I'm hinting at, I guess, is what I'm saying.
The only way this would ever happen, and even Phil Spencer stated it himself, is if Nintendo decided to walk away from the console market and decided to develop software as a third-party entity like Sega did.
Right. Which
Yes,
is
remember
not
when Sega used to
I
make
know.
consoles?
I know. Yep. Which it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's not likely, but it's not
It's very
impossible.
unlikely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not impossible, but there are so many factors in play that means that it's probably very, very unlikely.
Yeah. I would say so.
Very unlikely.
So what do you think of all this hubbub, all this dramatic
Nonsense. Should not have even been reported, to be honest. I'm only reporting it because we have to report the news.
Yes, we do. We have journalistic
And
integrity.
it also came out as part of this massive Microsoft story as well, so felt like it needed to be covered to some degree.
Yeah, because it's gonna get buried in the rest of the stuff we're gonna talk about.
Yes, it will, which is why I covered it first. But
Yes.
also, anyway.
Oh goodness.
So let's move on to the next Microsoft story. Sorry, guys, if you really don't like Microsoft, it's time to call it a day now, because that's all we're talking about now.
Oh goodness.
Sorry.
Yep.
So, how would you feel about new controller?
A new Xbox controller.
A new Xbox controller.
Well, I've stated on this show many, many times that I think that the Xbox, specifically the 360, but you know, the Bone and X is fine too. Controller is absolute perfection.
Okay, I don't disagree with you here.
Yep.
Because the new Xbox controller has leaked, which will include accelerometers, speakers, a rechargeable battery, and more.
I don't understand speakers on controllers. I don't understand.
They're annoying.
Speakers or microphones. You know, microphones that aren't in a headset, inline microphones. I'm talking about microphones on the controller, like the DualSense, whatever, or DualShock, whatever it's called.
Also, they've actually. Oh, I say VGC has technically got this wrong. I'll go over that in a minute because because the speaker is not clearly detailed in that little image they had at the top of the story.
Okay, interesting.
Anyway, so, I want to get to that in a minute because it is an interesting new feature, but it's not a new feature if you have other consoles.
Yeah.
The next evolution of the Xbox controller will have improved haptic feedback, an accelerometer, speakers, and a rechargeable and replaceable battery. Wow, finally, Microsoft has decided to do away with the... Oh, wait, no, they haven't. I don't care. I've got no problem with them having, the ability to use your own rechargeable batteries. I've never seen that as a problem. I'd just rather Sony not have them proprietary that I have to tear my controller apart.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Dinguses. Anyway, I can tell I'm better now because I'm really annoyed by things. The controller appears in unredacted court documents published overnight, seemingly in error. Stop saying seemingly in error!
Oh, goodness.
I don't think this was in error. I think this was done on purpose.
I do too, 100%.
Which includes an internal Microsoft document titled Roadmap to 2030. Why is it always 2030, by the way?
Because it's a nice
Why is everything
number.
Always 2030?
It's a round number. Maybe that's when the world's going to get better.
Or get worse.
No, better.
Yeah, have you seen? No, I'm not going into that. That's political.
No
anyway,
political.
Coming from you, Miss Bloody, I'm a Trotskyist to tell us every friggin' week for the last 5 weeks. Yeah, thanks for that.
I want
a politics-free zone.
I want to distance our audience as much as possible, apparently.
Anyway, and look, you're a socialist. I can't say anything, I could turn around and say, go back to the breadline, but
That's communism.
How many people have died from socialism? 100 millions. Anyway, let's move on.
Oh, do you want to talk about how many people die from capitalism in America? Because we can do that.
Far too many people. It doesn't matter. Yeah. No system is perfect.
Exactly.
So, anyway, the document includes information.
Welcome to our politics show.
No,
never. Don't worry.
This is why I try to keep it politically free because everyone else does it. I don't want to.
No.
Anyway, the document includes information on Microsoft's mid-generation console refresh, which says the new console will come with an all-new, more immersive controller. We'll get into that in a moment, by the way.
Yeah.
This controller, codename Sabil, or whatever. Is then detailed in the document with its new features listed. These features include the following: improved precision haptic feedback using VCA voice coil accelerators.
Hate it.
Which double as speakers. Oh, they did clear that up in the article then. So, if you know anything about how the Joy-Cons work, this is a similar thing where you can actually create sounds using the haptic motors.
Yeah. That's how the dual shock or whatever I think works.
The DualSense also does something similar, but it's more prevalent in the Joy-Cons, especially when you're playing things like Mario Odyssey, 1-2 Switch, and stuff like that. An accelerometer, which also adds a lift to wake feature. Now, this is the only feature I think is actually
I mean,
interesting.
yeah. My watch thing has that too, although it didn't wake
Yeah,
up.
a
I'm
lot
in
of
for it to
a,
wake up.
yeah, a lot of technology does also have that ability now. I mean, you even have it. You kind of have it on phones, not all the
Yeah,
time though.
no, nothing's actually
No, I
working
was
right now.
literally just picked mine up. I was like, no, it didn't
No,
work.
it didn't work, but yes, I do think that that should be a standard in interactive
It
media
it
or
should be, but
interactive tech.
it is also kind of a worrying state of affairs that all your controllers are always going to be constantly on. Then, hmm.
Yeah.
It's like the Amazon Echo device is always on, always listening.
Well, I'm. Oh god, I know. Mm, you know what? Okay, another tangent. So I have what's
I
called.
haven't even finished off the features yet.
I have a smart lighting, which is a Philips Hue thing, which means all my lights are actually constantly on. Uh,
But
but
they're dimmed.
yeah, that's how that works. And then Philips Hue just issued this whole like statement and thing and made us like agree to the terms. They're always going to be listening now, like Amazon Echo. So
Ugh.
I am
Why
now in a
though?
yeah. I'm like okay, well, I think I'm gonna have to figure something out. But yes,
Yeah.
continue on,
Anyway,
Pete.
next, modular thumbsticks.
That
A
means
rechargeable battery which can be swapped out.
which is good, yeah.
And quiet buttons and thumbsticks.
Those are okay. They're not like those don't make or break things for me.
I can run through the full list of things as shown on their slide. I will go through that in a moment.
Okay.
Um, the document also says that the controller will still have special edition and limited edition color variations as
Oh.
expected, and will also be added to the Xbox Design Lab service.
Oh well, we couldn't live without that.
The controller appears to largely feature the same form factor as the current Xbox controllers.
Good.
However, it appears the bottom half of the controller may use a different material for
Oh,
the purposes of grip. Yeah, it's a
okay.
two-tone controller now, so one
That's
half
fine.
is gloss white and the other is similar to how it is.
Is
Sorry,
it
I'm just
textured?
reaching for my the similar to the
Oh,
textured
okay.
feature at the
Yep.
back here.
Okay, that's fine.
So,
That makes sense.
which to be fair, even on the triggers, if you can see there, sorry, audio listeners, they do have them on too, and I quite
Oh,
like that
right.
feature.
Okay, that's
I think
cool.
that's a nice feature of the Xbox controller. It's just like we said, 360 controller made it good.
Yeah.
The Series X and S and Xbox One controllers just refined them, made them
Yeah.
slightly better.
Yeah.
I
There's a.
still think it is one of the more comfortable
Mhm.
controllers out there. I was using it the other day and still very impressed.
Yeah. Absolutely.
However, I don't know if you noticed on the document, but on there, if you
Mhm.
can see, that is where the share button is now on the Series S and X controllers. So just they've now moved it in line with the start button, and I don't like the way that
No,
looks.
I don't either.
Anyway, so
Personally.
according to the slide that we got on the top of the article, it says
Mhm.
you quit or what? Oh, I don't even. This is all just guff anyway. So play anywhere. Xbox Wireless 2 direct to cloud. Now direct to cloud is interesting. Do you
Yes.
remember what particular um, failed venture had that?
It's a nice little Stadia that
Yes, it
Overlord
did.
Mike
Where
loves
it
and
hooks
adores.
directly up to your Wi-Fi.
Yup.
Oh, great. Oh,
They're
wonderful.
never gonna learn. They're not gonna
Yep.
learn.
Bluetooth 5.2. So they've improved that somehow. So seamless pair and switch. So new mobile app features. Great. Wonderful. So that means you can use it when playing on the cloud then.
Oh
Great.
goodness.
C paired devices and cloud and managed devices and accessories. So
Yay,
they're
accessories.
obviously including more interaction with the Xbox app. Immersion. Feel the game. Precision haptic feedback. VCA haptics doubles as speakers. Accelerometer and quiet buttons and fun sticks. Durable and reliable. New modular fun sticks improve longevity and continued build improvements. The lift awake feature, as we said.
Yeah.
Familiar Xbox feel. Same ergonomics as Merlin. I guess that's the old
Mm.
controller design name.
Sure.
Same layout and activation forces. It's not the same layout because that share button's moved. SE, LE, and XDL options as expected. Don't know what the hell that means. It's this that I want to talk about
Okay.
more so. This is in the top right of it. Do good, feel good. Rechargeable and swappable battery.
Okay.
Repair and disassembly. So it means it's probably going to be easier to be
Ah,
able to disassemble it yourself.
for drift.
Wonderful. Perfect. Means it's more modular. Means that you can obviously do, which is why it says new modular fun sticks. So it means that
Yeah.
they probably
Oh.
are more replaceable.
Oh, I get it now. Okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
I was confused by that.
It's this that don't get why.
Okay.
Recycled materials and less resin.
I mean, that's cool, I guess.
I don't need to be lectured by a $1 trillion company about how to recycle. Thanks.
Well, I think
Shut
it
up.
does that mean they're using recycled materials?
Yes, they are, but it's like, yeah, look how
Yeah,
sustainably
but
cool we are, and shut up, I don't care.
that's the new
I,
marketing thing. I use
yeah,
it
but
in
I
mine
don't.
too.
But I honestly do not care how environmentally friendly you are being. Runs on frigging carbon. Who gives
I
a
know.
crap?
I know, but there are people out there who do care, like seriously
I
care.
know they do, but I do my bit for the planet by recycling. I don't need to be lectured by a $1 trillion company who could invest a lot more in actual sustainable products and
I don't disagree with
sustainability
you.
projects.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I do think that well, we're really talking about corporate stuff here,
This is a
especially
corporate
corporate
show
greed.
today. Corporate
Uh,
show today, unfortunately.
um, I do agree that a lot of companies out there could be doing so much more. Instead, they are getting by the bare minimum, which is we use recycled material. So you're actually not wrong. To be fair, they should be doing more, especially where the cobalt and lithium mining go. You know, as far as that goes.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
but we won't ever hear God, why Steve Cook is it?
Yeah, that's yeah, Tim
So,
Apple, but yeah, Steve Cook.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. No, I meant for Apple because
Yeah,
obviously they use cobalt in
yeah,
smartphones. That's why I
it's
was doing that.
Tim Cook, but yeah,
Tim Cook, sorry, yeah,
yeah.
my bad. Anyway, yeah, I don't really want to hear them talking about their new iPhone and then telling me
Uh-huh.
how they can't include a freaking new plug in their box because it's not environmentally friendly. Shut up.
Yeah.
Just include the freaking plug. You didn't invent the freaking USB Type C like everyone thinks you
Well,
did.
I'm
Shut up.
I'm just
And you
glad.
only have to do that because you were forced by the EU to do so.
I was gonna say I'm so
Get out.
glad. I'm glad they got rid of that lightning cable. That was stupid. So
Pile of
stupid.
crap. Pile of crap. I
Yep.
still remember the day that they changed from that, like, to that from the
Oh
30
yeah.
pin, and it was like, that was
Why?
fine. There's nothing wrong with the old
Nope.
system.
Yep.
Anyway, this story's dead now because we've
Yes.
killed it. But it leads into this because I didn't
Okay.
want to carry on reading anymore
Yep.
because it goes into this. Xbox's refurbished or refreshed Xbox Series X console, codename Brooklyn, has leaked.
Oh goodness. I mean, but we knew that they always do this mid-cycle. But Brooklyn, what a name. But anyway, continue on, Pete.
Microsoft is planning to release a redesigned Series X console, codenamed Brooklyn, with a new design and controller. Let's go into it, shall we? Because this
Yeah.
isn't going to be another one. I'll read the story and then we can go over the slide that was included within.
Okay.
So that's according to court documents published overnight as part of Microsoft's recent legal battle with the FTC, which have seemingly been unredacted by mistake. No, they weren't. I'm going to press X to doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Also, pop quiz, because this came up the other day. Do you remember where press X to doubt came from?
Yeah, didn't that come? Wait, that's from L.A. Noir.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Not many people seem to remember
Oh
that.
goodness! See, that's the people in their memories. That's one of my.
There
I
you go.
enjoy that game very much.
What about press F to pay respects?
Oh, that's COD.
Which one?
Oh frick. The one where they had the funeral for the vet, and it was so awkward.
Yeah, it was either Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3, I'm sure of it.
I want to say 2, but I would be wrong probably.
Yeah.
And then press X to Jason is from Hard Rain. So
Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain. Sorry, Hard Rain is a Christian Slater movie. So
Yeah, it
anyway,
is.
Yeah.
But yes, good pop quiz. Everyone passed. No, it came up in a live stream that I was watching the other day, and they were like, "Do you remember where that actually came from?" And some
Really?
people were like, "Remember?"
There's an actual meme of it, of what's his
I'm
face.
fully aware, yeah, of the guy like
Oh,
who.
I've just
Yeah,
forgotten the detective.
I never.
How did I
I don't
forget
know.
his name? Anyway, yeah,
Who
he's in the
cares
meme.
anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah. This doc, the docs include slides showing details and even images of the Xbox Series X refresh, which the docs state will include more internal storage, faster Wi-Fi, reduced
Cool.
power, more immersive controller, and a beautiful design.
Oh goodness. I
The
kind of
console also
like the.
ditches the standard Series X disc tray.
Mhm. Are we going all digital now?
The new Xbox controller, codenamed Sibyl, will include new hats. Oh, I don't need to read that. Anyway, according to another slide, Brooklyn will release in November of 2024 with a 2 terabyte hard drive or 2 terabytes of storage for the same price as the current Series X at $499 or £449.
I'm not
The
convinced.
same leaked documents mention a Series S refresh featuring a 1 terabyte of storage for next September. According to the docs, Series S refresh will include some of the Brooklyn features, such as improved Wi-Fi support. We'll go over that in a moment.
Yeah.
If the timing in the documents is accurate, they're dated April of 2022, then the market could be set to receive 2 major console refreshes in 2024, as Sony's is reportedly preparing a more powerful PS5 version. In June, Microsoft Xbox boss Phil Spencer said a potential mid-cycle upgrade for Series X wasn't a priority for Microsoft, and he reiterated this in interviews published last month. And since Brooklyn seems to have the same core specs as the standard Series X, Spencer appears to have stuck to his word. No, he doesn't. No, he
No, he
doesn't.
does. He does.
He's full of crap.
No, he sticks to his word. It's just he sticks to it technically.
No.
He's
So, quote,
technically
as
correct.
soon as you start doing mid-gen refreshes, we've got a bunch of issues in front of developers on what platforms they target, he told
They
Eurogamer.
always do that.
Spencer added, if we get into a console world where every 2 years we now have 3 or 4 closed ecosystems that are upgrading their hardware every 2 years, I'm going to wonder, how is this helping creators or players? To me, it feels like we are creating a ton of complexity for creators and players in something that used to be very simple. And maybe there's another model for us.
Well,
So
I
let me just
mean,
go over the
okay.
slide of what was included with the new Series X, or
Okay.
codename Brooklyn. So Brooklyn will deliver 4K Gen 9 console gaming with more internal storage, faster Wi-Fi, reduced power, more immersive controller, and a beautiful redesign that elevates the all-digital experience of the Xbox ecosystem. Giving our fans more to love, except a
Aww.
freaking disc drive.
Aww.
Beautiful and innovative new design, more internal storage for games, 2 terabytes, USB-C front port with power delivery, all new, more immersive controller, and same great price at $499. Upgraded technologies, the all new South Bridge to modernize I/O and sustainability effort. There it is again. Wi-Fi 6E radio for better throughput latency and interference migration. BT 5.2 radio for improved accessory experiences. 6mm die shrink for improved efficiency and improved sustainability story. So reduced PSU power by 15%. New
That's
low power
cool.
standby mode is 20% of the current Series S and X
I like
standby
that.
mode. I mean, if you want to care about sustainability, why have you got it
Well,
on
I
standby?
most mean I most mean because it's less money for me to pay the electric company.
Yes, I know, but if you wanted to do that, you would just completely turn the
I know.
console off.
And I do now. I didn't used to, but I
So
do
do
now.
so do I. So do
Yep.
I. I didn't used to, but I do now.
Yep.
I did it the other day. I actually did it earlier. Um, Increased use of PCR on housing to greater than 30%. And 100% recyclable packaging. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Pete, everything I buy you from now on, I'm gonna make sure it's big letters, 100% recyclable packaging. Just because I like your
100%
reaction.
sustainability effort.
I like Pete's reaction. It cracks me up.
Okay, look, I'm going to rant here. Phil
Yes.
Spencer just lost money from me.
Oh
What an
dear.
absolute idiot.
But
What an absolute idiot.
there's always a mid-gen refresh. This isn't new.
I didn't say it was new. It's just this mid-gen refresh is stupid and absolutely ridiculous. Why the hell are they taking away the only thing that the Series X differentiated away from the Series S? Which is your disk drive.
Are they going to sell it separately? They're going to sell it separately, I bet. It's
I
going to be an
really hope
accessory.
not.
I
I really hope not.
bet it is. Because there's too many people like yourself, Pete, that are very, you know,
Dude,
hardcore physical media.
unfortunately not. Not anymore. You do know what the split now is compared to digital to physical.
No.
90% digital, over 10% physical.
I'm not usually in the majority. That's really good to hear. Poor Pete.
Why did you... I don't get what your idea is of putting a mid-gen refresh out without a disk drive, which is the whole point of what the Series X was supposed to be. One had a disk drive and one didn't. One had more storage, the other didn't.
Yes, that's
The
correct.
other one
That's why it
had
was cheaper.
slightly less specs and one was slightly more powerful. But yet, you've taken a disk drive away and you're selling it at the same freaking price. How?
I bet they're gonna sell it as an accessory. It's Xbox.
Oh, they are going to. It's absolutely ridiculous if they do.
Yeah. Oh dear. But you gotta know it's coming. Now, did I think it was gonna come at mid-season refresh? No. I kind of thought it would be on the next console that they would take it away. Yeah.
So did I.
I mean, it is inevitable because that's just the way of media.
Also, didn't exactly talk about the design of it, did I? Because
It
looks like a giant. It looks like an Echo device. It's cylindrical. It's absolutely ugly looking. I think it looks like a piece of crap.
The last few consoles overall, and I'm talking about this is across the board, have all been aesthetically unpleasing. I do like this one, this little guy. But I mean,
they look like crap.
They
look like crap.
They used to when consoles would come out, and Pete, I'm sure you feel this way too. They would always be this kind of like futuristic. It felt futuristic. Now, I mean, we were kids and stuff, but cutting edge, all that kind of like sleek design and stuff like that. And then I think PS5 led the way. Well, PS4 wasn't great. No, that's right. PS4 and Xbone, they came out and they were VCRs.
Gross.
They were
gross.
Ugly. Yeah. And then
one looked like a ship and the other one looked like a VCR.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like they've never this is your opportunity to shine. Think about, I'm about to go on a tangent. Think about, do you remember Alienware, Pete?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, they weren't great computers, especially when they got bought over by Dell. I think it was Dell or Gateway. But I think Dell.
Yep.
Yeah. So they already weren't great computers, but they were so aesthetically beautiful. You should Google Alienware from early 2000s.
2010.
Yes. They were so just sleek, and they had the right kind of LEDs, and they were just sexy, and you wanted to possess them just because they were pretty.
You knew that they were a specific piece of hardware for the gamers.
Oh yeah, it was 100%. It was a gaming, for those who don't know, Alienware was gaming laptops and gaming PCs. They were pure gaming machines. That's all they were.
They were the pre-builts of that everyone knew and everyone loved.
Yeah. And I could never afford in my life.
Neither could I.
Yeah, they were way overpriced. But they were beautiful. They were very aesthetic. So how we went from that to these weird paperweights that we keep getting from these companies, maybe it's because I'm in graphic design and marketing. I don't know. Make the frickin' machines pretty and we'll buy them. I mean, I bought my PC because it's got RGB fans in it. Nice. And I can change the colors on them.
Yep.
That.
Now, for me, this is a worrying state of affairs. this going back to obviously the console
Uh-huh.
itself. Now, what concerns me with the lack of a disc drive
Yes.
is the all digital future.
Yes.
Now, I have my thoughts about the all digital future.
Yes.
I'm not as hell bent on it as you are. Like, I'm
Yes.
not one for it. But now, not having a dedicated unit that has a disk drive means that you are locked in to only
You
doing
are.
one thing and one thing only, and that is buying through Microsoft.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
There's no more options where to purchase. So it means what?
Mm-hmm.
What does
It's
it
a
mean?
monopoly.
No, they can charge exactly what the hell they want then.
Yeah.
Meaning that those $70 games might turn into $80 games, or 90, or maybe
Well,
more.
but then that's when we as consumers need to not buy them. That's honestly it. But you know what?
Well, if this is actually true and this is the case and it does come out next year, then well, I'm afraid to say that this will be the last Microsoft console I'll ever buy.
I also wonder now, full disclosure to our audience, I am 100% on the digital side. That's just me, and it's just because I just like not having anything. I will own nothing and be happy, as the saying goes.
Oh no,
Uh,
I'd rather own something and be happy with it. At least then I can actually trade it, give it to people to buy, to play,
I did
lend
that on
it,
purpose.
resell it.
I did that on purpose, but it does
I
make me
know.
think of like limited run games and stuff like that. Uh, you know, what's going to become of them because it is inevitable. I mean, we do have to see that. This is going the way of the 8-track and the vinyl, records and stuff like that.
The
CDs,
vinyls come back though.
Vinyl will always have a life. I think I buy vinyls. I buy vinyls of 40s era music because of freaking
So
Fallout. What? What'd you say?
never said anything.
Uh
I just
huh.
don't need to cough. I'm still ill.
Uh huh. But yeah, it sounded like you might have said something about hips. Um,
Yeah. You know what? Sod it. You're a
hips and
hipster.
I actually
I
love that.
do vinyl because it sounds so much better.
It does when
Shut
you're
up.
when you're
Shut
listening
up.
when you're listening to 40s, 50s, and 60s music. It
Yeah,
does
because it was designed for that
exactly.
method of
Oh,
delivery.
I'm not gonna lie, I
That's
do love
fine,
vinyl.
but not this day and age.
I really love vinyl. But I don't buy any modern music on it. All my modern music is on Spotify. Isn't that insane?
That's the
Wow.
problem. Look, I'm not. I embrace the all digital future to some degree because Steam and Spotify.
Yeah.
I still buy CDs from time to time,
Unless I'm
but
ripping
that's
them. Sometimes I'll rip
no.
CDs.
That's the only reason why I buy CDs is because it's part of
Yeah.
a collection.
Or if it's autographed. Oh,
Part of collections for me. That's it.
yeah. Oh, if I
So,
could get a U2 autograph
um,
CD.
yeah. So Brent has asked, are they discontinuing the disc version? Not. They haven't
Not
confirmed
yet,
it yet.
but
But you
it's
know what
inevitable.
happens when a mid-gen refresh happens?
Yeah.
They discontinue the old one
I
because they're
mean,
not going to want to plow resources into a defunct console or
yeah.
into something that's not going to sell numbers. Because that's the point. This is supposed to have new features. It's supposed to be more ergonomic. It's
Mhm.
supposed to be more sustainable. Blech.
They did it
Um,
with all of the consoles do it.
yeah, look at the original VCR. They phased that out very quickly at the Xbox One.
You go back to Xbox
That
360. They did the
Yeah,
Xbox 360
that
refresh.
arcade version
Mhm.
where it got crapped out very quickly, didn't it? After that,
Yeah. I
one
had one of those.
once once the S version came out,
Mhm.
they never touched the old original design
Nope.
ever again.
Ever again. Oh yeah.
No,
I've got
apart
them
from
around here
that
actually.
Super Elite 250 one that they had, if you remember that.
They did a Halo Elite. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
they had the Elite one, which was the 120
Yeah, but
HDD
no,
version,
we're
but
talking about
then
had
they did
that
the Super Elite that had the
which had
250
the
hard drive.
yeah, it was like a turtle or something on the
Yeah,
top. It was
yeah.
massive.
Yeah, but then after that Super Elite, that was it. They were
That was
done with
it.
that
Yeah.
particular design because everything, even then, they even redesigned the redesign because they
Yes,
did
they did.
the Model E version, didn't they?
Mhm. They did, and that was on the very end. As it
That was when
started.
the VCR came out because they
Mhm.
wanted to make it look as much like the VCR as possible, which was
Yep.
really weird.
Yeah, I didn't care for that.
Yeah,
Um.
funny all the things that we remember that
Yeah.
general consumers forget.
How do people forget this stuff? Um.
Oh
But
no.
I mean, even
Clearly, we're the outliers here that we actually remember gaming history.
no, exactly. But I mean, also don't forget, PS is famous for doing PS Pros. In the middle of their refreshes as well. And I'm sure.
Well, not even just that. It's like you can go back to when they did the PlayStation One or the
Oh,
original
it's
PlayStation. They did
they.
the PS1, which was the mini version,
Yes,
which you could then attach a
way.
screen onto.
Yes, and yeah, for those who don't know, so the PS1 came out. It was one of my favorite machines. To this day,
Yeah,
it's
but
still
that
my favorite machine. It was very blocky. It looked like a Super Nintendo. What?
can't call it the PS1. Just got to call
Oh,
it the PlayStation because the redesign is PS1.
you're not wrong. Yes. So the original PlayStation, it was very blocky and very square. I bought it. I was so happy. So
Yeah,
excited. First one I ever bought with my own money. Oh. But then midway they released I don't remember what I guess they called it PS1 at that point.
they
It
did.
was
Yeah,
very thin and round and I bought it. You better believe I bought it. It didn't play any
and
different, but
really, really, really dumb because the same thing that happened with the PS2 Slim version
oh
is
gosh,
they
yeah.
made multi-taps completely useless.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sony.
I always bought the mid-season refreshes. Holy crap, I sure
Yeah,
did.
then you found out that multi-taps didn't work on the mid-gen refresh.
Well, that's the weird thing about mid-gen refreshes. Like they'd have advanced moments in their hardware and then also regression,
Yeah,
which is what this sounds like too. On top of
yep,
it. Oh
it
my
is.
gosh, it is.
Yeah, look at the PS2 as well. So when
Yeah,
they released the
I have
PlayStation
both
2,
here.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, you remember what was at the back of the PS2 on the original version?
HDMI.
No.
Oh, what?
No, they had so it was component obviously,
Yeah.
but I meant the big area that had absolutely nothing in there,
Oh, yes,
and
yes,
they
yes. I
had the
see what you're
mod
talking about.
that was for the modem
Yes.
that you could
Yes.
plug in, but then the PS2 Slim had it included,
Yes, it did. That's
but then
correct.
completely crap the bed by saying yeah multi taps don't work.
Oh
Brilliant,
my
well done.
gosh.
Got to go and buy new multi taps. Great
Yeah.
work, idiots.
Oh, that wonderful PSN network back then. I don't remember what it was called back then, but that was the first time you could buy games online.
Mm-hmm.
And it took forever. It took like 4 days. At least in my
Yeah.
country internet. My out in the
Well, yeah,
rural
that was because you
country.
had poverty internet back
Yeah,
then.
poverty internet. Yeah.
Look, this is not to say that mine wasn't very good at the time as
Oh my
well. I could
gosh.
barely play anything. I was trying to
Oh.
play. Oh god, I remember trying to play Time Splitters 3 online, and
Oh
oh my
gosh.
god.
Oh. See, I was actually weirdly thinking about that this today, like the old internet. You were like unlimited internet was not a thing that we knew. Like that
No,
was for rich people. You
yeah,
literally only had a certain amount of hours to play on the internet. That is
whilst the amount of data
insane.
capping.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great. That was so much fun.
That's why I started sailing the seven seas and getting old timey games to play because I couldn't play, online multiplayers for very long because
Yeah, neither could I.
oh my gosh, we have come so far. I love modern
We have, yeah.
stuff.
But yeah, let's just say that when I saw this, I was not a very happy
I
person,
I knew
which is
you
why
would
I said to
be.
you, screw Phil Spencer,
Yes.
because now he's ruining every goodwill that he's built up.
I knew immediately. I know my co-host very well after 4 years, and I knew as soon as they removed the physical component, it wasn't gonna be
No,
good.
it's not just because of the disk drive. It's the fact that you're locked in the ecosystem and you can't buy your games anywhere else, so they can charge you what they like.
Do you remember? This is might not have been over here in the UK, but it was definitely in the US. Before MP3s became a big deal.
Mini disc players.
Yes. And you can only buy. That's the only thing. I think that was Sony, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Sony created mini discs. Oh
They
my
did, and
gosh.
they licensed the technology out to everyone else.
Oh yeah. So you got like stuck in, and then they made this mini disc player that also had a screen on it. I don't remember what it was called.
Mm-hmm.
and you could watch SpongeBob. That's what I remember. But yeah,
Brilliant.
you had to buy mini discs. I still have a bunch of blank mini discs. I just keep them for nostalgia. They're
Of
completely
course.
useless. Um,
Look, that was back in the day when I was young. I was out early in the morning doing paper rounds, and portable CD players were terrible because they
they
used
were
to skip
awful. Yes,
as soon as you ride your bike. That was it. They
yes,
would just skip to hell.
they would.
So, and also the great thing is the mini discs were that big that you could fit 4 albums on it. It was
It was
amazing.
shocking how much they held.
I know, and my God, but my God, they were terribly designed though. One tiny little knock to them and they were broken. They
That was
were
it.
awful.
Yeah,
They were awful.
they were.
But they were great at the same time.
They were also affordable, which was a big
Yes,
key
they
component of
were.
that.
But part of me's now that you've brought that
Yeah.
up, it's now brought to the surface why I think they're removing the disk drive.
Oh, right, okay.
Because who owns the patent to Blu-rays?
Oh, Pete. Oh my gosh. Pete, you just hit it. Pete just hit it. You heard it here first, people. Sony does. Now, we've often talked about how both the PlayStation and the Xbox have each other's technology inside of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Xbox has just as much Sony tech as Sony, or the PlayStation has Microsoft tech. Oh my gosh.
I knew you, but that tangent actually did mean something. I'm so glad you brought it up.
Oh my gosh. Pete is absolutely correct. Holy crap, you're right. They're trying to get away from Sony. And I don't freaking blame them. Oh, I almost said
No,
that
neither
shit.
do I. But it's just at what cost, though? Like,
Yeah, I see
they're
what
now
you're saying.
going to completely like alienate quite a fair few of their consumer base because of it.
They will.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Nana, there's a small issue with that, and that goes down to storage. Your average DVD holds about 860 megabytes of data. Your average Blu-ray holds about 4.7 gigabytes.
that's it.
And an Ultra HD Blu-ray will hold about 40 something gigabytes, which is currently what's being used in the PS5.
Oh my.
So yeah, you would go back to the whole days of about 20 installation discs.
And that was a thing. If you've ever heard of Dot
Yeah,
Hack,
funnily enough,
there's a game
it
called
got brought
Dot
up the other day because someone posted a short on YouTube of the GTA 5 PC edition from 2014 that had 9 DVD discs for installation.
Oh my gosh.
9.
That's probably when I made the decision to be digital.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't have it on PlayStation. PlayStation. I didn't have it on PC. I had it on Xbox 360, but
Yeah, so did I.
still,
But even then, it still had the 2 discs,
Yeah,
and
it
you still
did.
had to install it.
A lot of things still had 2 discs back then, even back then.
Yeah, well, remember Red Dead Redemption 2
Mhm.
even had the 2 disc installation.
Yeah, and I remember thinking, "Oh, this is funny." Going backwards.
Yeah, I think what they're doing, Nana, is they're putting the vast majority on the installation disc to allow for quick transfer by way of the second disc. So the vast majority is all on an install disc. You know, games are getting massive, so you know you've got to do something, I guess. If you can only fit them across 40 gigabytes of discs, then
Starfield was like insane.
106 gigs, wasn't it, on the
Yeah.
Xbox, and it was 115 on PC.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's a lot. Anyway, let's move on to the last part of this,
Okay, the last
which
of us.
says Microsoft says major Xbox leaks consist of old emails and documents.
I mean, it does. It's the same. It's a lot of emails that we already found ourselves back a couple years ago. So
Yes. Anyway, so Microsoft's head of gaming has acknowledged a major leak, which has revealed a host of confidential details about its gaming business. Obviously, this came after the fact of all these leaks. Now you can see why I'm starting to why it was done in the way it was done.
Yep.
But we do have another story after this because this came out pretty soon after the fact.
Yeah.
Anyway, documents published on a court website as part of Microsoft's legal battle with the FTC potentially laid bare key elements of the company's gaming strategy for years to come. including plans for an unannounced console hardware and games. I didn't even go into the games. Yeah, I didn't really feel like talking about Starfield DLC.
I know.
That's already 2 years late.
We're also going to talk about Starfield here in a second.
We shall. Addressing widespread coverage of the confidential materials, Xbox boss Phil Spencer claimed so much has changed since the emails and documents in question were written or created. Of course he would.
I mean, but it has, just because that's the nature of business, you know.
Yes, these. I mean,
these
let's
are
be
like
honest.
2 years
These
old.
designs do look pretty formalized when it comes to the controller.
Yeah.
When it comes to the hardware stuff,
Yes, I will agree.
I
with
would
you.
probably say that there's not going to be much change because that takes quite a while to figure out and then to build.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly, as based on the Series X's design, is clearly done with repairs in mind, and that's probably what the cylindrical design will also have too.
Right.
Because it's modular and easy to take apart. They found that out with the Xbox One. The Xbox One, it was such a nightmare to service.
Oh yeah, and they're specialized screws. That's Nintendo does that too.
Oh, they're annoying.
Yeah.
Yes, I even had to buy a kit just for it. Thank you, console developers.
Yeah, I
spend more money.
hate. That's the dumbest. Okay, wait, another tangent. I'm sorry, but proprietary screw heads are so dumb and also genius, because you do, like, if you don't have the right kind of screwdriver, you're done. You can't get past this stupid little tiny stupid screw head.
I can tell you now that basically every single one of those consoles behind me includes an R8 or an R10 screw. Stupid R10s. God, I hate those things. Anyway, we've seen the conversation around old emails and documents, he tweeted. It is hard to see our team's work shared in this way because so much has changed and there's so much to be excited about right now. And in the future, we will share real plans when we are ready. So following the leak, the judge in the FTC case against Microsoft, Jacqueline Scott Corley, said the Xbox maker had inadvertently provided the court with a link to unredacted documents. See, Microsoft did it themselves. Well done. Which it then uploaded to the internet page established for the case before the mistake was spotted and they were removed. Dumb. For those listening, there was a bit of X pressing there.
Yep, I grabbed my controller.
So the leaked documents, including the following revelations. Microsoft is let's not talk about that. We've covered those first two. Anyway, now we get to talk about some of the games.
Yes, let's do that.
Unannounced Bethesda games, including Dishonored 3.
Yep.
A new Doom. Oblivion and Fallout 3 remasters, and a trilogy of Indiana Jones games. Now, we already knew that from Machine Games.
I was going to say, none of this is new.
Well, the Oblivion and Fallout 3 remasters are probably the only new thing there, let's say.
They're new, but also inevitable, so...
Well, yeah, but still.
Yeah.
Microsoft seemingly plans to harness the power of the cloud processing in its next-gen Xbox console, which could launch in 2028. This generation hasn't even got off the fricking ground and they're already talking about the next generation. I know they do, but it's just like, what have we seen that's been truly next gen at this point?
Nothing. And that's
nothing at all.
Stuff I want to talk about.
And that's the fact. The fact of the matter is that I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it now, that Starfield is a last generation game.
Are we going to talk about that now?
We'll get to that in a moment.
Darn it, okay.
Microsoft plans to let players customize the appearance of the Xbox Series X consoles in the future through the Design Lab.
Ooh.
Oh, great. So I can spend more money on a Series X that'll look like a piece of crap anyway. Yay, it'll have a different colour, so it'll look like less like shite.
Yeah, I'm just gonna turn it purple, but I could have turned it purple. You just, guys, here's a hack. Here's a life hack for you. Get yourself some sticky vinyl. It's called different things in different countries. It's called Fab something here. Fablon. It's called Fablon here. but it's just sticky backed vinyl in the US.
Oh
And
yeah,
you
just
can
look at what
turn
they
it
did
into
with
anything.
the.
You
Go
can
on.
get chameleon, which is that thing that changes colors in the light. Get you
Mm-hmm.
some chameleon sticky back vinyl. Stick that on there. Stick it on your controller. Oh, you did it!
Also the fact that Microsoft recently did it with the Starfield console wrap.
Yeah, well, wraps are made of sticky back vinyl,
Yeah,
so
I'm fully aware.
use
I'm
your.
fully aware.
Also, here's a tip for our viewers because I do this for a living. Use your hair dryer, and that
Yes.
makes it stick.
So you get the
Make
air
the
bubbles out.
reposition. Yep, that's exactly. Okay,
Hmm.
life
Also,
hack.
last point of this quote bit was Microsoft assessed, sorry,
Assessed.
a range of third-party options to. Oh God, why do I have to read this? With I know what you're gonna say, to fill a huge hole in its lineup caused by Starfield's delay, including potentially paying 300 million to get Star Wars Jedi Survivor on Game Pass at launch.
Oh,
Oh
Cowcassus.
dear. Anyway, I'm not reading anything more of this
No, don't
because
read anymore.
it's going over the same old crap
Yeah.
anyway. So
So
yeah, it was literally there just to say, oh look, this stuff came out. It's disappointing, but don't worry, things are gonna change. No, they're not.
they're
No,
not.
they're not.
They're
No, they're
not.
really not. These are formalized plans, and he's just damage controlling.
And I want to say this, which is what I've been saying, and I'm going to keep saying it. This generation, console generation, is effed, has been effed for years, and will be effed. There's nothing, and I'm talking about all the consoles. There's
Hmm.
no standouts. There's been nothing great. There's been nothing advanced.
Switch.
I
Only the
mean,
Switch has been the only one that's been the outlier, but it's not exactly an advanced piece of
it's
technology, is
not.
it?
Now, here's what I will say why the Switch does win. Even though I don't play the Switch, but here's why it wins. Because it gave the fans what they wanted. It always, Nintendo is great at fan service. Xbox and Sony, not so much. Not so
Hmm.
much. And Xbox, probably the worst at fan service. They gave us a Halo Infinite that nobody wanted. And they've never touched it since. Um,
Nope.
which is massively disappointing. And that leads us to Starfield.
Yeah, do it. Pull the band-aid off.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done
I
with
was done
Starfield.
week. I was done weeks ago. That game is a last generation game if I've ever seen one.
It's last gen. It doesn't bring anything new to the table. It's Bethesda formula. But here's the thing. This is what I told Pete before we went live. It's Bethesda formula, which I love and have comfort in, but it's Bethesda minus the charm. There's no
Hmm.
charm. There's no wit. There's
Yeah.
no funniness. Even the Easter eggs aren't funny. Uh, it's just dry, and I'm bored. I said this last week, and it's the truth. I'm bored of it. I figured out the
Yeah.
formula, and
So was
it's
I. Even to the point where I've now uninstalled it on PC and Xbox because I've got no will and no want to go back and play it. And I was hyped as hell when that game was
you
revealed.
were.
And I have to say it, and then I'm gonna eat my words on this one. You were correct. You were very right when you said this doesn't look good.
Well, to
When
be
you initially said it.
to be fair, Kieran was the first one to say it, and
Yes,
then
he
I
was, but
echoed
yeah.
that.
But the
It
fact is that I thought that there was going to be a
you
lot
did.
more about the game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there'd be like story wise there'd be a lot more. There'd be more charm. There'd be more
Yeah,
Bethesda. But there
it's
wasn't.
not
There was
there.
no charm. It
None.
was, and I'm just gonna say it now. It's sterile. It is
It
literally a medically
is.
sterile game.
That's what it is. And actually, I was thinking this the other day. You, me, and Kieran watched the debut trailer, which was what, 2 years ago?
Yep.
And I remember I was still kind of excited because it wasn't a
Hmm.
gameplay trailer, guys. This was just pure teaser. It was like
Yeah.
the astronaut, I think it was a lady going down the steps, and then an internal shot of the inside of the spaceship. And Kieran was the first one to say it, and then you followed up with, "This doesn't look modern. This doesn't look futuristic. This looks almost like it's set in the past."
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, no, no. it'll pick up or something.
No, but we found out the
No.
time scale of it was like 2300s, wasn't it?
Yeah, and yet, which is, by the way, Halo set in about that same time.
But
But
yeah, the
it's
technology is more like a lot more advanced.
it's very strange because it's almost, I don't know. The charm with Fallout is that it's an alternative history, and so that the kind of 50s and 40s as we know it in our history stuck around because computer chips weren't discovered in the Fallout universe. It was only vacuum tubes. That's a little nerd lore for anyone out there, which meant that the society didn't progress as fast as it did here because, yes, society now, currently, as we know it, progressed as soon as the microchip and microprocessor were discovered, which was late 60s. Yeah. So I thought at first maybe this is kind of like the Fallout universe, but in the future, so that they're a little bit regressive. Maybe that's kind of me just trying to make
That's
some kind
what
of
I was thinking. That's what I
mental.
thought from the trailers. That was
Yeah.
the initial point that we got.
Yeah. No, it's just boring. It's so boring, and that breaks my heart because I am a Bethesda fangirl. I cannot stress that enough. And I'm bored, and there's nothing. There's just nothing.
I tell you one thing it did make me do.
Okay, and then Brent has a really good
yeah,
thing. Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna bring that up anyway.
Yeah.
It made me actually want to go and try No Man's Sky.
You're not the first person to say that. Someone else said that too. Yeah. It might have been Max. I can't remember. But yeah, someone said the same exact thing. They're like, "Oh, well, this makes me want to try, these other games that did it so much better."
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Brent said, even me, the Starfield addict, is almost at my end. I tried out Outpost this morning, which was disappointing, and have just have the Crimson Fleet and main quest to finish before I uninstall. So, even as a Starfield addict who's put in a lot of hours in the game, and we know you have because you keep saying to us,
well, we can see
how
it
much.
also.
Yeah, we can see it as well.
Yeah.
That even you at the end of your tether with it, you're just like. I think most of the time the people are just playing it just because they can, and that's it.
It's
the hype got to most people, and I'll be the first to admit that it got to me, and I wanted to play it as a result of it. And then every time I picked up a controller and played something else, it was like, I should be playing Starfield, but I just do not want to go and play it.
Well, 2 points for me, which is I got this first inkling when Bethesda released Fallout 4, and I was massively disappointed. The only thing that saves Fallout 4 for me, which I have over 1,000 hours into, and I'm going to probably do another 1,000, is the mods. I cannot stress that enough. There are community mods that have been made. These are not people who are paid by Bethesda or in the creative, whatever the thing that thing's called. And that made it bearable. It turned it into what I like. There was wit and charm and stuff like that. Starfield obviously doesn't have that. And here's the funny thing. I keep going back to Minecraft. I don't know if you guys can see me playing that, but I get kind of embarrassed in case it does come up. I just keep going back to Minecraft and just doing what I want to do, which is I want to build settlements like I do in Fallout 4. I want to build settlements, and I build, architecture and stuff like that. Architecture, I think that's the word. Obviously, Starfield doesn't have that yet.
No, it will come, but it should have had it at launch.
Exactly. Like, all I care about is building stuff,
Who doesn't want to go around the planets and colonize everywhere and build shit? Yes. That's what I was looking for.
Exactly. This doesn't have it yet, and it's massively disappointing because this and Halo Infinite were the two games that I looked out for the last few years. And guess what? Neither of them have lived up to the hype. And guess what? Nothing else has come out. I'm not kidding. I keep going back to freaking Minecraft. That tells you what caliber of games we've got. Not that I'm knocking Minecraft. I'm not. But that's what caliber of new games that are coming out. This generation is effed. Maybe that's the title of this episode. This console generation is effed because there's nothing. And yes, please feel free to tell us in the comments, or message us or whatever. But nothing has set my world on fire in the last 2-3 years since the new
Don't worry, that's
generation has
just
come
me putting the name down.
out. Okay. um, and then yeah, okay, and I do want to talk about that too, Brent. Brent, have you played? Was it the Crew? Isn't that what it's called?
Crew Motorfest.
Crew Motorfest. I want to know your thoughts on that, Pete. I want to know your thoughts on that.
I haven't played it yet.
Okay, because it did actually strike my fancy. The only things
It does look good. It
Mhm.
does.
The only things that have kind of struck my fancy have been mobile games and indie games, and none of them have been like, oh, I'm completely immersed and I'm on passion fire for this universe. None of them have been like that, but they're the only things that have got me like, oh, I do want to play this, type of thing. Pete, what about you? Do you feel that same thing? I mean, I know that you have the Switch at least.
I do, but there's not a lot on there at the moment. It feels like that Sonata console is just winding down. So we said this last week, obviously, where I felt that the Nintendo Direct was one that felt like a last year of an old generation
Yeah.
before they transitioned to the new. I'll be interested to see what Nintendo does with that, but like this generation, I was like you. I got really hyped about a Halo game for the first time in my life.
Oh, yeah.
And was left massively disappointed, except for the fact that me, you, and Kieran had a lot of fun playing the multiplayer.
Yes.
Like,
That,
if it wasn't for you two playing
Mhm.
it, I wouldn't have played it.
I was gonna say
And I
that.
had so much fun with you two playing it, but that just dropped off because the matchmaking got worse. The updates were so infrequent, and it just
The
got dull. It
battle,
got really boring.
the battle
Like,
pass was crap.
total
crap.
nonsense. Total nonsense.
Absolutely.
Forza Horizon 5 never quite lived up to the same appeal that Forza
Mhm.
Horizon 4 did for me. And that's not to say it's a bad game. It's just I think I just preferred the England setting compared to the Mexico setting.
Yeah.
And look, I just think England was done really, really well. England and Scotland, that way that they condensed the map
Yeah.
into those was genius. Like, and there was so much to do, and it was just enjoyable just driving around in them. Not to say that Mexico wasn't great. It was just I just didn't feel the same appeal with the game.
Mhm.
You know, there are other games that have been coming out that are on Game Pass that I'm willing to try out, but
Yeah.
none of them stuck the landing for me. As much as I kind of enjoyed Exoprimal, I don't think I'm going to
Right.
keep playing that.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun, but it's schlocky fun for a couple of hours, and that's about it.
Yes.
You
There.
know, and that's the thing, is that it feels to me like that Microsoft's main way of doing things now is the all-you-can-eat buffet,
Mhm.
where you've got so much variety on the plate,
Yeah.
but none of it is done with any consistently good value to them,
Right.
or consistently great. So you go to like a buffet place and you
Mhm.
know what you're getting
Yeah.
every time you
It's
go
cheap
there.
food.
It's cheap,
Yeah.
it's
Quick and easy.
serviceable, and it does the job.
Yeah.
You know,
Gets the job
get
done.
as much as you want in as little time as you want, and that's it. And
Yep.
that's exactly what Game Pass is.
I
Now,
agree with you.
no problem
Wow.
with that whatsoever, but there's no longevity in that. There is no way that you're going to be able to download a game, stick with it for 30, 40 hours, and then move on to the next, because your attention is always being taken by that next thing that's coming, that next one. And look at it. Starfield has come out. What's next? Forza. What's
Right.
next after that? We don't know.
Yeah. Because like
Oh, wait,
even
no, sorry. It was like Payday 3.
Oh,
Payday 3
yeah.
was next after that. That came out in a mess. Like,
Yeah.
the online is screwed for that.
Which is
Hardly
like
anyone can play it.
which is a huge component of Payday.
Yeah, but
that's
they've had
a huge
free.
component.
Exactly, but they've had 3 games come to Game Pass this week
Yeah.
alone, and how many of them have you wanted to play?
Oh yeah. See.
None of them,
Yeah.
apart from one. And now I've played 2 of the 3.
Yeah.
Or, well, I've played 1 of the 3, and I've got 1 to play, but I couldn't because my Xbox is a piece of crap and wouldn't connect to my Wi-Fi for some strange reason.
Yeah.
Despite it not. So Payday 3 was one of them. I really wanted to play it, but the online is completely bugged to hell.
Yeah.
Lies of P.
Yes.
Good game, not my kind of game.
I
though.
do want to talk about that too. Yes.
And then Party Animals.
And then that's it.
Now, I messaged you about Party Animals, and clearly you've not wanted to play it.
I
You've been
wanted
busy, I
to,
know.
but not. Well, yeah, but like it wasn't enough.
Yeah, I
You know what
know,
I
but
mean?
I want to jump on next week because I think it should be discussed.
Yeah.
You know, it would be nice because
I
we were
will say
hyped about
this.
that game.
We were very hyped. All three of us were. But I will say that I did watch a little bit of Mags playing it.
Yeah,
And they had, I think there was a little bit of connection problems.
yeah. There's a few issues
And then
again.
yeah, Lies of P is again, it's a Souls game, so I'm not interested. But I did again watch. Well, again, Mags. It just happens to be Mags that was playing it.
Yeah,
Um, and I still don't like Souls games. This is like Souls light, so it's not
yeah.
as brutal,
Well, I
and
found that
it's
out the hard way. That Soulsborne games are probably not for me by
they're
trying
not
out
for
Lies of
me.
P.
Yeah.
No, I
Oh,
was
okay.
glad that
Yeah.
I
No.
got to try it because
Yeah,
I've always wanted to try a
and it's
Soulsborne, but not actually
beautiful.
pay money for them.
It's an absolutely beautiful game. Like I can't fault it.
Yeah,
But my absolute, as currently as we sit here, my absolute game of the year is Baldur's Gate 3. It just
yeah.
is.
You said that on Tuesday, and I
I
was really
love it.
surprised about that. Actually,
I am surprised too because
I
I'm su-
really want to play it.
I'm surprised on two levels. One because that's 12-year-old Kiley coming out. I loved turn-based well, RPGs, but JRPGs at the time.
Well, this is more pen and paper sort of turn,
This is
D&D style.
this is like so D&D heavy. Like I knew it would be
That's
because I'd played Baldur's Gate too.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, I've never played the Baldur's Gate, so I never knew that that was the case until
Ah,
people started talking about it. And I'm like,
okay.
why has no one told me this? This would
I
be the
didn't realize
perfect
that.
game.
Yes,
I love
exactly.
D&D.
I don't
You
know
know I
why.
do.
I know you do. I guess I didn't realize you didn't know that. Yeah,
No.
it's extreme. It is a D&D game for those who you actually roll dice and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um,
well, I'm gonna have to buy it before the Game of the Year discussion happens,
yeah,
aren't I?
definitely. It's 100% my game of the year, which again is funny to me because it's such a throwback to my childhood love of games, and yet
Mm.
Starfield would be my current gen. And I couldn't hack it, you
Yeah,
know.
I know.
Um,
Anyway,
but
I'll read this comment from Brent because it's quite
yes,
an interesting one about
yes,
Motorfest. So he said, I played the 5 hour trial of Motorfest. I call it Forza Horizon 4.5. Almost as good as Forza Horizon 5. However, if you prefer a more arcade experience a la Need for Speed, Motorfest is like a cross between Need for Speed and Forza
I
Horizon.
agree.
That's a good comparison,
I
I think.
agree. Yep, 100%. And for me, out of the two, Need for Speed was always my preference. Whereas I know with like Pete and Brent, it's Forza.
Mm.
God, I love Need for
Well,
Speed.
this is why I'm massively interested in motorsport because it has got that feel of the arcade sort of style, but
Mm-hmm.
it is more simulation.
Yes.
And I used to really love the simulation races back in the day, especially the PS1, PS2 generation.
Yeah.
So I was more about Gran Turismo than
I was gonna
anything. But
say I did.
um,
Gran Turismo 7's what I had. I studied
you
that
know,
freaking book.
back in the day, I did well when it first came out to the Xbox. I did want to play Forza Motorsport 7,
Mm-hmm.
but I was put off by the egregious monetization that I had in that game. It was
Oh
just pathetic.
yes, yes, 100%. Oh
It
God,
was
yeah.
just a joke, honestly. So he also said I'm still working through Crew 2, so I didn't buy Motorfest right away, but I plan to get it by the end of the year. I'm quite interested and might wait for a sale on it though. It's another one of those racing games are not my biggest passion, but I do enjoy them when you get a good one.
Yeah.
Nana put, I need to try that game, and man, people
Mm-hmm.
love D&D, like Dungeons and Dragons, and the fun you can have with those systems. Yeah, you can have
It's
so
in
many
your
fun
mind
things.
palace. I love
Yeah,
it.
and Brent then put, looking back at the first party games on Game Pass this year, Hi-Fi Rush was
Right.
great. I'm gonna say that Hi-Fi Rush was very good, but I never got the inclination to want to play it to
Yeah.
completion for some reason.
I
Like
agree.
I love the game itself. I love its aesthetic and I like its writing. It's just for some reason, I think the over reliance on rhythm just probably caused it a bit of a problem to me.
I loved
Anyway,
the vampire one.
Redfall was bad.
No, not that vampire one.
Yeah, I know.
That
You
one
mean
was bad.
Vampire Survivor?
That's it. I love
Yeah.
Vampire Survivor.
But that came out last year anyway.
Did
It's
it
only new to
really?
Game Pass this
Okay.
year, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, Redfall was bad. Starfield is disappointing. So
Mm.
we're due for Forza to be good. If not, Microsoft needs to reevaluate things. And I
Yes.
agree. And he said, I
100%.
also forgot about Minecraft Legends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eh.
Anyway, shall we move on to the final story?
Oh, yes, let's do that. I got carried away.
Because this one came up as the back end of all this leak happened,
Ooh, yes.
and it's good. I'd say it's good news for Microsoft. Because UK regulator, the Competition and Markets Authority, the CMA, has provisionally agreed to allow Microsoft's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard.
Holy crap.
So the CMA remained the last major roadblock to the deal closing and initially blocked the acquisition in April due to concerns about its impact on the nascent cloud gaming market. Microsoft attempted to restructure its proposed acquisition by agreeing to sell cloud streaming rights to Ubisoft, leading the CMA to launch a new merger inquiry. This move has now seemingly been enough to satisfy the CMA, which has posted its provisional decision today, which was on the 22nd, so that was a couple of days ago now. So, as of recording, of course.
Yeah.
Quote, while the CMA has identified limited residual concerns with the new deal, Microsoft has put forward remedies with which the CMA has provisionally concluded should address these issues. It adds, while the restructured deal was materially different to the previous transaction and substantially addresses most concerns, the CMA has limited residual concerns that certain provisions in the sale of Activision's cloud streaming rights to Ubisoft could be circumvented, terminated, or not enforced. To address these concerns, Microsoft has offered remedies to ensure that the terms of the sale of Activision's rights to Ubisoft are enforceable by the CMA. The CMA has provisionally concluded that this additional protection should resolve these residual concerns. So, do you happen to remember when I brought up the whole HBO situation over here?
Yes.
And how obviously they can't actually use HBO as a channel and we can't distribute through HBO but can through Now TV?
Yes.
Well, this is essentially the same thing.
It's
So
insane.
the cloud gaming market will not be owned by Microsoft. All of Activision Blizzard's games are now technically sub-licensed to Ubisoft.
Which to me is stupid.
Ubisoft of all companies.
It's so stupid. I don't understand. Make that make sense. Because that doesn't make sense. Like, why did
Makes
they.
absolutely no sense.
I mean, I get they have whatever.
Uplay.
You play. But why then? Why not Nvidia? Even.
I really don't know.
Nvidia makes way more sense to me. But
Yeah, I would have thought that it would have made more sense to go with GeForce Now actually on it,
yeah,
which is Nvidia's service. I would
yeah,
have thought it would have been
exactly.
more. Would have made more sense, but hey.
Makes way more
Anyway,
sense.
the CMA has now opened a consultation until October 6th, so it's still not quite done yet.
Mm-hmm.
After which time it will make a final decision. Unless any major objections shed new light on the situation, it should now be expected that the CMA will approve the deal.
I offer no opinions on this because I've been wrong.
Yeah, following the publication of CMA's provisional decision, Microsoft President and Vice Chair Brad Smith tweeted, "We are encouraged by this positive development in the CMA's review process. We presented solutions that we believe fully address the CMA's remaining concerns related to the cloud game streaming, and will continue to look forward towards earning approval to close prior to the October 18th deadline." Anyway, I'm not reading anything more because that's just basically going over all ground at this point. Anyway, let me raise this point that Parent has put in the chat. It said, I looked into the agreement some more, and the rights sold to Ubisoft do not include mobile games. The protections you mentioned are actually quite intense. Third-party trustee, yearly audits, Microsoft not allowed to own even 1% of Ubisoft, and Ubisoft can request ports and emulators and more. Wow.
They hate Microsoft.
I wouldn't say that they hate Microsoft. It's just obviously,
they hate
freedom. You've got No, so you've got the third biggest console maker out there, let's
Yes.
say, because that's without a doubt, you can't say
It is.
otherwise.
Yeah.
And you've got probably the number two, let's say, probably number one due to gross profit yearly publisher out there. Not
Definitely.
just developer,
Yeah.
publisher.
Yeah.
I think that's where the problem lied, is the publishing house, because the ZeniMax deal went through with no issues. There
Right.
were mild ones,
Just yeah, the
but it
normal
was
typical
it was
ones.
the biggest concern out of all of it from the general public and for some industry insiders, was the fact that they would lose the publishing rights to Bethesda games,
Right.
which they have because Sony aren't getting them anymore, which is a huge concern. Now, obviously, Sony did not want to lose that publishing deal again with Microsoft for Activision Blizzard. So this was always going to be fought because it is the monopoly. It has become so much more apparent over the last few years that people just do not like the idea of monopolies. And it's exactly what I said earlier with the whole Microsoft and Nintendo. It will never happen because,
Yeah. Oh no, that's
yeah,
too
once,
much.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's far too much. They've pushed it
Yeah.
as far as they can probably go with this one alone.
Mm-hmm.
Anything more than that, if they try and buy another publisher like EA, they're done.
No, they'll have to stick to those
That
little
will be
ones.
blocked immediately.
Yeah.
So more than likely, what's going to happen now as a result of this is, if they are going to acquire, they are going to acquire smaller companies that
Yep.
fly under the radar.
Yep. I mean, they should buy up mobile companies. I think that's where the future lies.
They already did. It's called Activision Blizzard King.
Well, yes, that is true.
They already did. It's called Bethesda.
Yes, but I mean in the future.
They already did.
Yes.
They have several mobile gaming arms in their division now.
They need to buy more and then give me more games because that's how I play games. And then they need to buy Amazon. That's not out of the realm of possibility, by the way. Did you know Bezos posted like a huge loss?
Yeah, well,
That's crazy.
okay. Well, I'm gonna get on my soapbox here for a
Okay.
quick minute.
Haha.
Um, I'm going to talk about SAG-AFTRA for a
Okay.
moment. So, obviously that they're currently on strike in Hollywood, and they're wanting to talk
Yes.
about getting more, you know, plausibility and more openness when it comes to people like Disney and Amazon posting their numbers.
Right. Okay.
There's a reason why Disney and Amazon don't want to post their numbers, because it
They're
would actually
bad.
turn out that they're really, really bad, and they're
They are.
currently in billions of debt
They
as
are.
a result of all
That is
their
correct.
streaming platforms. Streaming
Okay.
has been a disaster for all of these companies.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. Why do you think Willow got removed off of Disney Plus? Save space, save money, and cut cost of residuals going to artists and writers.
Yeah.
Not that it mattered anyway, because it felt like that freaking show was written by a fucking AI anyway.
I haven't watched it because I don't want
Don't
my
bother.
okay.
You
'Cause
can't now anyway.
I love the movie Willow.
Yeah,
I
you can't now
love
anyway.
it.
It's
Okay.
gone. Bye.
Well, I could probably find it on the seas. But
You can, for sure. It's already been added there,
isn't
but you
Christian
can't.
Slater in it too?
I don't know.
I
Don't
believe
care.
he is.
Not interested.
But
But yeah, the streaming numbers have been appalling for all these companies, which is why their stock prices keep going down and down and
This is the
down
thing.
and down.
okay, here's the thing. I'm gonna jump on this soapbox with Pete. Yes, when we were in a global lockdown, stuff like streaming services made sense.
They
Hum-
went all in on those streaming platforms. They spent
They did.
billions on them, and
And
they've become useless now.
it made sense at the time, but humans who are not me love to be out and about. They love to go to the cinema. They love to just be out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that on demand is still, I think, a very big moneymaker, but you can't put all of your eggs in the streaming basket because humans, except for me, are social creatures and they want to go out and they want to see things and they want to participate in social activities and stuff like that. This is not this was bad. This was bad strategy.
Oh, it's hugely appalling strategy.
Yeah.
Look
And
at all the shareholders for Disney at the moment are all looking at that stock price going from $189 during the height of the pandemic to what is it now? About $78 a share.
that is insane. But I'll tell you another thing. And yes, Pete and I will actually have some kind of overlap agree, a Venn diagram of agreements in this. Not just Disney, but a lot of companies. They're not listening to the people and giving the
Hmm.
people what they want. They're giving what they think. They think that they, as media creators, can set the tone of storytelling. Um, I
I'm
will.
not saying it.
I'm just saying, you need to listen to the people. Sometimes the people are
Yes.
dicks, and they want. Okay, I'll put it in this arena. We'll say this. This way, we'll avoid bad stuff. Sometimes people like pretty girls with big boobs. And guess what? You can put them in your movies. That's
Yeah.
okay. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. Put them in your movies. It's okay to have a sexualized female in your television shows and your
It, it
movies.
it's okay to do it for the men. It should be okay to do it for the women too.
Yes. You know what? It's not just the male gaze. There is also a female gaze,
Of course there is. It's the human side of things. We find
Yes.
people attractive.
Yes. So it's
Yes, I can go and watch a Marvel movie and I can see all Chris Hemsworth and Chris Evans shirtless and I think, oh, wow, okay, that's interesting. Good stuff.
exactly.
And then I
I
can go and look at an old show, like an old movie like Age of Ultron, where it was clearly over sexualizing
yes, it was.
Elizabeth Olsen. I
Yes.
don't care. She's an attractive lady.
There's nothing. Humans are drawn to what's attractive. This sounds like a weird soapbox if you don't know what we're actually saying under our subtext.
Well,
But
well, I'm just not even going to put it as subtext anymore. Don't listen to people like frickin' Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni's an idiot.
yes, this is our rare moments for our Venn diagram overlap. In that,
Yes, and
this
I'm
is
gonna put
what
it out there. I don't care who I offend. My God, Ahsoka is shite.
I. I mean, let's just be honest. Like that is everything. Okay, if we want to, we'll even talk. We'll specifically focus on Marvel. Even everything that Disney has put out in the last couple of years has been bad because they're not listening to the people. They're trying to, I, I don't know,
Genuflect.
maybe, but not to the people,
No,
Again,
to
they're
their
not doing their,
shareholders.
yeah, and again, they're not doing their market research and their focus groups, which, again, this is not a joke, people. I've been in business school. It is literally business 101. You learn it your first semester. You send out surveys, you do focus groups, you do all this market research to find out what product is going to sell. Nobody's doing that now for some reason. I guess because they've gotten lazy and think that Twitter and Facebook are market research. No, they're not. Um, very few people are authentic and real online.
Yep.
Whereas in focus groups, you tend to get people being more authentic because it is truly anonymous. So you get liberal feminist males going, okay, I do like big boobs. It's okay to like big boobs. Um, and they need to put that back in
Sorry,
entertainment.
wait. I don't always like them, but they are nice to look at.
but that's the thing. Like, it shouldn't be the focus. It should never be the focus. But it's also, we exist. So
Yeah,
don't make us invisible because
agreed.
it makes you feel icky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
So I think of the entertainment industry as a whole, but I am specifically talking Disney and more specifically Marvel. Um, they've
Congratulations, you wrote a show where you made the main villain of your show incels.
yeah, I'm
She-Hulk was such a piece
so
of crap.
disappointed,
Such a
guys.
piece of crap.
You do not know how disappointed I was in She-Hulk. You do not know, guys. I have been a
Oh
She-Hulk
God.
fan since I was about 12 or 13 because I wanted to look like She-Hulk. I didn't want to be green, obviously, but well, I would take it, but And then when I heard that She-Hulk was coming to the small screen, I was very excited because it is a witty, sarcastic, funny character. She's very intelligent and she's very sexy. And then they did some
They made
weird
they made her stupid. They made her
a
a
fetish,
slut.
and they made exactly they made her into a fetish slash no slut shaming, but they did turn her into a fetish icon, and it was like, why? This is not
Yeah.
empowerment, you know.
And then, oh, I don't like the way this is ending. I'm just gonna smash through a screen and go. I'm gonna go and talk to Robot Kevin. Shut up!
I mean,
Shut up!
they did do it in the comic books, so at first I thought it was funny, but then upon reflection, I was like,
Thank you. I told you that at the time. I told you that ending was crap.
I don't like it. I'm so
Nope.
disappointed in it.
Also, why does Daredevil just turn up out of nowhere when he wasn't involved in any of it? It's just because she wanted it.
Yes, although I
Yeah,
didn't
it's
like
a
his
freaking
appearance.
piece of. Oh my god! And the writers on that show put themselves in their own show. Like, how narcissistic do you need to be to self-insert yourself into a show?
I
How?
know it is traditional, but they didn't do it right, and I like what Brent has said. Well, I like what Nana and Brent has said. Actually, the last two
Uh,
comments, if you want to read those.
Anyway, so Brent put only about 50% of the population is male, so ignoring the other half is bad business sense. That is correct.
Yeah, I mean, yes,
Nana put, I
100%.
don't want to touch that show talking about Ahsoka. The Clone Wars is one of the rare Star Wars things I watched and didn't want to corrupt that. I agree. I never watched the Clone Wars or Rebels and
But I
didn't
love
really
it.
want to.
I love
And then Nana just put, this is Pete getting his suffering from never watches. Yes, trust me. I wanted to rant a lot more on that She-Hulk episode. Brent put, I was also excited about She-Hulk, especially with Tatiana Maslany as
Yes,
the lead, but I was
exactly.
disappointed at the end. I think she got unfairly treated by some people because everyone said
You'll
that she
see.
was unattractive. No, I think she's a good-looking lady.
She's beautiful. Did you see the massive spider that just crawled up on my
I'd
pants?
rather not because I'd
Oh,
probably
oh,
be
Pete, I'm sorry. I forgot. I
headbutting the
forgot.
crap out of my monitor right now.
Okay, it's all right. He's gone, or she's gone. It's a she.
No, don't worry. The
She's
other
gone.
day, I came upstairs and there was one sat right on my pillow.
Oh,
I was
poor
like, right, that
Pete.
room's gone. I was whilst I was ill as well. I was like, no, I'm going to sleep on the
Oh,
sofa tonight then.
poor Pete. Yes.
Damn it.
Um, but yeah. So listen, because I know Disney watches and they listen to us 100%. Uh, yeah, I did forget Nana. Um, but just stop trying to make us like things. Listen to us and listen to what we like, and then make things based on what we like, not the
Well,
other
they
way.
never. Well, I'm afraid they're never going to do that because all we are just idiots,
Apparently,
racist, sexist, horrible, disgusting people for not liking their shows
I'm
and
so
movies.
I
I'm
I'm
so over that.
I'm so annoyed at not content creators. That's not what I mean. I'm talking about big companies, corporations trying to
Hmm.
tell us what to like. That's like during lockdown. Okay, you guys are not probably going to relate at all, and that's okay. For females during lockdown, if you go back and look at the fashions that they gave us, and this was in the
Ugh.
US and UK,
God,
it was
they were
some
bad.
kind of weird little house on the prairie, 1800s farm girl, up to
This
here, down to
and
here,
yeah.
dresses.
God damn, what was the name of that show where there were? God, why can't I remember the name of the show that everyone referenced?
Oh, yeah,
Christ,
I know. I
you
can't
know
remember
what? You
either.
know
I
which
do.
one I mean, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And that's exactly, it was weird. And like, me and my friends would walk in and go, why is this what we're being offered? Because none of us want this. I mean, I know it's lockdown and we're not going to the clubs and we're not showing off, and that kind of stuff. But this was weird. This was some kind of weird, whatever that show is that Pete's referencing that I can't remember the name of either.
That makes tell.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Okay, Handmaid's Tale. This is some weird Handmaid's Tale post-apocalyptic nightmare that we're being forced into? No.
Hmm.
I don't know what happened, but yeah, this is the same thing. Oh wow, this has been Tangent City.
This has been ranty episode.
But it's just the truth. I want people
No,
I want corporations to stop trying to dictate what we like and just
Yes,
listen to us as
yeah, and
consumers.
stop telling me I'm a sexist or a racist if I don't like your show,
Or
just because there are quote. Let me just get on my soapbox for a moment. Can we stop calling them people of color for now? Because
well, if
it
that's
was
if
racist back in the '50s when we called them colored
I
people.
know, if I here's my whatever, my test, my litmus test. Whatever person wants to be called, if they want to be referred to as a person of color, I will call them that. Not everybody wants to be referred to that. Um, when I was in school, one of my classmates, absolutely, she did not want to be referred to as an African American because she said, I am not African, I am American. And I
Yep, fair
100%
enough.
respected that. I was like, okay, yep, nope, you dictate to me how you
Yeah.
want to be
Do,
referred.
yeah.
So
Do you want
that's
to
how
know
I
how I
feel
refer? Do you want to know how I refer to people?
as people.
You're a human.
Yeah.
End of. You're a
Yep.
human. You have a name. You have a
Mm-hmm.
name. You
Yep.
aren't just a characteristic in my book. You are a human being with a personality, individual likes, dislikes, and that's what makes you complex.
I mean,
You are not dictated to me by just solely what is the color of your skin.
I like what Brent says because it is
I
also
just
true
call
for
everyone
myself.
y'all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just
Um,
call everyone dude.
yeah.
No, I'm joking.
I say y'all as well. But I mean, my thing is going back to Pete's original point, which is like, I'm a big proponent. I have to be very careful and choose my words carefully, not for
I
the
won't.
reasons you think. Um, but females are allowed to be sexual, and for some
Yes.
reason, in the last 2-3 years, we've tried to mute, almost neuter, in the most literal sense, female
Mm-hmm.
sexuality. Now, I'm saying this. I don't want my inbox filled with crap because I'm
Please
not.
don't.
Please don't. I'm not. You guys, sometimes people do that, and I just block you. I'm sorry, because that's not what I'm saying. Uh, Unfortunately, there is a small population that misunderstand what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, in a lot of games, especially games that came out last year, and a lot of media, the female sexuality has almost been erased, and that angers me on a very visceral level. And I don't think that that's right, and I do stand by that. Do not fill my
100%
inbox.
agree.
Do not. I will block you. Do not.
Yeah.
Because it's no. I don't mean, I don't know how to word it the right way. I don't mean female sexuality as in
No,
everyone hit on this
no,
woman. No,
no,
that's not
no,
what I mean.
no.
No.
No, the idea of females are allowed to be attractive.
Yes, exactly. They're
Like
absolutely
men
allowed.
are allowed to be shirtless and showing
Yeah.
pecs off.
And they can do that
And there's nothing
a
wrong with
lot.
that. Male
No.
gaze, female gaze, not a problem. Doesn't matter to any.
You know,
Who's it hurting, really?
I was watching, obviously I was watching Peaky Blinders the other day.
Of course you were.
Peaky Blinders is definitely written for the female gaze, and I
Yeah,
found
of
that
course it
very
is.
interesting because there isn't a lot of shows that are. But I
No.
did that whole, whatever it's called, bechamel test or whatever. I don't remember what it's called.
The Becknell test.
Yeah, and so I like in my brain switched out all the male characters for females, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, this is hugely objectifying, but it's, it's okay.
Yeah.
It actually is okay and should be done more." Um, so we've got that. Let's run with it. Like there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it.
No, we're getting back to that homogenized,
Yeah, I
sterilized
don't want
terms
that.
of way of doing things, just like Starfield. I
You
brought
know
it back
what?
around.
You did, and you're not wrong because you know what that is. This is not a joke, and this isn't me being like a young, fired up person, liberal person, but that literally is fascism. Fascism is literally everyone looks the same, everyone acts the same, everyone has the same
100%.
haircut, and the same blah, 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 blah. No, we are all individuals, and wow, we have really had a ranty episode.
We have, but also we need to remember if we want to enact change, then we need to stand against this.
Yes, and Pete was correct when he said at the top of the show that if we band together and we do it as a group, it will change. It
And
absolutely will change.
it worked. It worked with Unity.
Yes, it did. Oh,
There we go.
there you
There you go. Message for the day.
go. What
Be
an
an
episode.
activist. Joking. This got. I think this got a bit more political than
It
we thought
did.
it probably
It
would
did.
too as well.
But
Oh my
I
god.
think we're both just very passionate about the way media is currently.
Yeah, I hate the state of media at the moment. It's terrible,
It's-
and I have to sit there with this stupid grin on my face, pretending like I like it. No, I don't. Most of the stuff that I've watched over the last few years have been crap.
It's like this, and we talked about this before. Now, do not get me wrong. Do not misquote me. Do not get me wrong for what I'm about to say. I love The Last of Us TV show. Episode 3 is some of the greatest television I've ever seen in my life, and that is saying something.
A good episode.
But if we took The Last of Us and we put it up against all of the great TV shows that have ever been produced, it's not going to be in the top 5.
Not even close.
The reason why it shines so brightly is because all that's around us is crap. It's just crap. I'm just so tired of it.
So to bring it back to something that I am very, very passionate about, Star Wars, as you would guess, there is a reason why episodes 4, 5, and 6 are still well regarded, yet everybody hates episodes 7, 8, and 9.
They're not great. That's why.
No, because they had good, relatable characters and they were character-driven stories about good, well-written characters.
I mean,
not a Mary Sue who gets a lightsaber and can do absolutely everything with no training. And don't get me started with that line from episode 7. I bypassed the compressor. There's a Millennium Falcon, and the person who piloted the Millennium Falcon the whole way doesn't even know how to do that. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I mean, there is no denying that what's her face is Mary Sue. I mean, 100%.
Ray. Palpatine. But, it's not Ray Skywalker. You call her Ray Skywalker.
I know. But what I will say is this, and this is a good example. This is for games. This is for movies, for television show. The original 3 episodes, A New Hope, Return of the Jedi,
Empire,
and Empire Strikes
Return.
Back. Yeah, Pete said it in the right order. I said it wrong. The reason why they work, and you're going to be shocked, I'm sure. The reason why they work is because they are stereotypes.
Yes.
When you're writing for massive audiences like that, yeah, use stereotypes. Use predictable story tropes. Use predictable story beats. You don't have to do anything out of the ordinary. You know what was out of the ordinary? It was set in the future, sort of future.
Galaxy far, far away.
Galaxy far, far away.
But it was still retro-futuristic.
Yeah, it was more retro. Yeah, exactly. And then, but THX did amazing on the freaking sound, visual design, and the visual at LucasArts, or was it LucasArts? I forget what
no, it was Lucasfilm.
Thank you. I forget what the special effects.
LucasArts was the.
That's the video game.
LucasArts was the video game arm.
Lighting and magic. That's it.
Oh yeah, that was it.
That. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, lighting, sound, and magic, wasn't it?
Yes, and so that's what made them stand out above the rest. Is they took that one thing and they went all the way to the top with it. But everything else was a stereotype. Literally, the movie. Well, not only is it based on Kurosawa films, as we've seen proven over and over, it's also just the hero's journey. Just take the hero's journey and just do that.
It's quite simple to write the hero's journey.
Yes, it is. I love the hero's journey.
You said about there being stereotypes, but actually, I felt that with the similar thing, I'll talk about another film in that vein in a minute, is that you might have had the stereotypical characters, but actually I think they were well ahead of their time in the fact that they had a total feminist icon with Princess Leia. Strong, powerful female character who took no crap from nobody, but yet could still get captured by a powerful force.
Well, see, okay, and I do want to talk about this. I promise we're going to wrap this up. So many of our viewers have probably dropped off, and listeners
Yeah,
dropped off this point.
already gone.
But I do
Yeah, the
want to
minute we
talk
start
about.
talking.
I know, but I do want to talk about Princess Leia. As we know, these movies came out in the mid '70s to late '70s and then early '80s. That
Yeah,
from
between
what
77 and 83.
Yeah, and my mom told me about that time. That was not a cool time for women.
No.
You could be fired for gaining weight, put it that way. Um,
You could be sacked for getting pregnant.
yeah, exactly. And then yeah, like I was stunned when my mom told me that like they were going to fire her because she gained like 10 pounds, and they were like, you have to lose weight or we're going to fire you. Um, so yes, Princess Leia came out strong female princess, first of all, which is cool. Strong female character who also was vulnerable enough to tell Han Solo that she loved him and to fall in love. For some reason, we have this disconnect nowadays where,
And then also manipulative enough to kiss her own brother. But that's another story
well,
for another day.
yeah, which I thought that was hilarious. She didn't know it was her brother. She was just trying to
No,
make Han jealous.
yeah, that's what's obviously come up as a result of it, is that
Yeah.
they were separated at birth. They
Yeah.
wouldn't have ever known.
No,
They
they
would
didn't
never
know.
have known. No, they didn't. But
she
she only
did it
did
on
it to
purpose.
make
Yeah.
Han jealous, and that
Exactly.
was fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. Like there was no affection in that kiss at all. No lust.
There wasn't.
No nothing.
I do love the fact that you look at that now, and Luke just does the old sit back. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like now with context, it's like, yeah, that's a bit creepy.
That was your sister, dude. But the funny thing being that nowadays when we have strong female heroines, and yes, this is also in games, and yes, Forspoken, I'm talking to you, and so many other games.
Dialogue was appalling to that game.
It is okay to be a strong female character, which is awesome, and I love it because I need those, who also is vulnerable enough to fall in love with I was gonna say with a man. You know what? It doesn't matter. Vulnerable enough to fall in love, and show that kind of softer. I'm gonna say girly side, but that's my own ignorance of language.
Sure.
Feminine side, maybe is what I mean.
Okay.
That's
well,
okay.
Let me give you an
to
example.
Do that. Yeah.
Let me give you an example of a game that done it right.
Okay.
There is a character in a game that came out last year.
That
is equal parts powerful soldier, great fighter, strong magic user, but also clearly very vulnerable, suffering, struggling at the result of a death of to her son,
right. Flawed
and the fact that she's going to lose potentially her another son as well.
Okay.
That is Freya from God of War Ragnarok.
For some reason, I thought that's who you were talking about, and then I just was like, no, it's going to be someone else.
She is an unreally very well written character.
Yes.
Clearly, she is an antagonist to start and becomes a party member towards the end after she buries the hatchet with Kratos after what happened in the first game.
Such a good game.
But what great writing there was that was had throughout that, because there is always this air of she's still not quite forgiven him for what he did. He killed her son.
Yes, it's exactly.
And he's gonna go and kill her other son.
It's such a good series, guys.
There you go. But you can't have these rounded, female characters anymore. No, that proves that you can still have that. And I'm just gonna say it. That is a great character design as well. She is a very attractive lady as well. Very attractive.
Well, we've got all these.
But my God, she can fight. She can fight.
Big time.
Oh, yeah. But she's still vulnerable. She's still very vulnerable at times.
I think
nothing wrong with that.
I think that vulnerability.
Called nuance.
Yes. Okay. You took the words out of my mouth. I think vulnerability actually is a strength when it comes to writing because it is so nuanced. But we're gonna wrap this up so we can talk on the after show. We hope you enjoyed our rants. This is how we do.
I clearly didn't. I didn't have the energy last week. I think I've saved it all for this moment.
Did. But it was really fun. Like I enjoyed it.
This has been. I've enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would, because I was looking at the news stories, going,
I know
Microsoft heavy. Ugh.
I know.
How are we going
But
to make a show out of this? No, we made it to nearly 2.5 hours.
we did, and we still have an after show to do, so that'll
I
be
know,
fun.
but I've got to cut that short at some point because I'm tired.
I know. We've both got long
But yeah,
work days
anyway,
in
shall we
front of us.
wrap this up before
We're
we
gonna
go
wrap
over
this
2
up.
hours 20?
We are. Oh my gosh. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Definitely, we publish over on Spotify, and for those who don't know, in case you get it sent through other, I don't know, podcasting
Podcast players,
things,
whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google, or wherever.
whatever. I don't know. There's so many out there, but Spotify has interactive features, and
It does.
our lovely friend of the show, Mike Tindo, he interacts with them all the time, and I love
He
it.
does. And he also
amazing.
posts comments up on the YouTube as well. You can comment and like and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe, as the kids say.
Yes. Like and scribble. But if you want to leave us a comment on Spotify, that is fun. We really enjoy that. We'd like to hear your opinions on this
Yes, always.
soapbox episode.
If you say anything I don't like, I will ban you, though. I'm joking.
He is very much joking. See, that's the
I
funny thing.
believe in open dialogue.
Yes. Pete and I do
Everybody
not,
has an opinion.
We very rarely agree. Like I said, we do overlap each other in some of our agreeances. But we're like co-hosts. I forgot the word. I was like co-workers, co-presenters. I was like, no,
Co-people?
Co-people? Cohabitators? No, we're not cohabitators.
Coaches? Oh, wait, that's an Audio Slave song.
Yes, there you go. Anyway, and we get along way fine. So, you see, it's all cool. It's all cool.
Yeah, I don't agree with you, socialism, but, deal with it.
Yeah,
Deal
exactly.
I don't care.
Yes, you fascist. No, I'm kidding, Pete. I'm so kidding.
Get away from me, you... Go away around the corner for more bread.
But I think that's
enjoy that week-long line.
There you go. Again, communism, not socialism.
Doesn't matter. Still got the same similar death toll.
That's it. They both end in isms. But man,
so does capitalism, though.
It does, though. I'm actually hungry. Why'd you bring up bread, Pete? But we're gonna wrap this up. This has been actually enjoyable for me and Pete. I don't know how enjoyable it's been for our audience. Yeah. But we've enjoyed it.
I apologize for nothing.
Yes. What a freaking episode. I hope people will watch it, listen to it. Don't forget we're on Twitch. That's always a good one. In fact, I prefer Twitch for the first week because it helps us. Yes. We're actually almost, did you see, Pete? We're almost at 100 freaking followers.
Hey.
We're 4 people away from 100 followers.
3 now.
3? Holy
3
crap.
Now.
Okay, that's insane and awesome. Thank you so much. Yes. You guys are amazing.
You are.
Yeah. So
we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you listening.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, we'd be not live. We would just be chatting on the phone going, "Did you see that movie? I hate it."
Yeah. We would.
Although P wouldn't be doing it in a Texas accent. But I don't know, maybe you would.
I don't know, maybe I probably could.
Yeah, oh great.
Sitting in an echo chamber probably would.
Yeah, exactly. But we're going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for listening and watching. And we will see you and talk to you next week. Bye.
No rants next week. Bye.
Thus ends the podcast portion. And now we do the very quick after show because holy crap.
Give me 1 second.
Wow. Thank you, chat, for hanging out with us for a very long time. I hope that... Oh, thank you, Nana. I hope you enjoyed our rants.
I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Our absolutely insane rants. But it's true. We're both millennials, and so we get to rant about this stuff.
Yeah, honestly, I've needed to have a good rant about TV shows for a long time, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I've needed this. This has been, honestly, it has been cathartic.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, we're not on Twitter anymore, so it's like, oh, I have to get it out somehow.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, you do, Brent. You get all the
oh
rants
yes,
out in the Gotti episodes.
that's right. Oh man, guys, we're gonna do something special, and yes, Pete, we
We
do
need
have
to
to.
discuss
We've got
properly
to.
what we're doing with that.
I've got.
Thursday, you need to be around.
I was gonna say I've got one major thing to get off my plate, and then I should be totally cool the rest of the year to just plan. And oh my goodness, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, y'all
Okay.
are y'all are gonna enjoy our very special game of the
I
year.
hope. I hope so.
I think
I
so.
hope so. I
We're
hope
gonna
so.
try something new, and it's to me it's gonna be fun as heck. Um,
Yes. Don't worry because there will be some normalness. Let's
yeah,
say there's just a new addition to
bleh.
the game of the year function this
Yeah.
year. Let's just say that.
Pete has to have his normal, and I get to have the weird.
Screw off. I don't want just the normal. I do. Like I felt. We can't just scrap everything we've done so far. Do
Ah,
need to have some sort of
sense of
thing that people
normalcy,
enjoy. Yeah, there you
some
go. There you go.
touchstone, yes. But
I don't like touching stones. They're cold and damp.
I like
Brr.
touching people's stone. I can't because I don't have anybody, so I can't even make that joke. Um,
Yeah, I'm not saying anything more.
yes, Brent.
There aren't many. There aren't many times that I'll turn around and plead the fifth, but this time
Oh
I'm pleading
gosh.
the fifth.
Ah,
Yeah.
not fair. 10 years, guys. 10 freaking years. Which is insane. I didn't drink that much wine. Did you notice that? You didn't notice that.
I
only
did
drank.
notice that because you drank the Hennessy instead.
Yes. Okay. So I did do that. But
But that was only because you told me beforehand.
yes, exactly. Don't worry, Brent. You will get some monologue. I don't remember if I said that or not. But yeah, all I want is something good to come. Like I said, I'm still watching Gotham. It's not that great. It's not that great.
Well, Gotham isn't.
No,
Yeah, I heard it wasn't brilliant.
it's okay.
Yeah, it has
The writing is
moments.
bad. The writing is bad, and the acting is overacting, which is fine. And obviously, they couldn't use all the DC characters because Warner Brothers owns them.
Yes.
And I don't think this is a Warner Brothers product.
I don't know if it is, which would be weird considering that it's Batman, so therefore Gotham would be
Okay.
licensed to DC, which is owned by
Yeah.
Warner Brothers.
And if it was on the CWB, which is Warner
Oh
Brothers.
God,
channel.
CW. Blech.
Yeah. So I need to look into that because Joker isn't called Joker. Joker is Cal Kestis. But Joker is called Jeremiah. So that means Joker is owned by someone else. I have to look into that because that's weird.
There is a bit of I believe there is some kind of rights issue when it comes to the creation of the Joker.
Yeah. So
I mean, let's be honest. Like, as much as I absolutely love Batman, Bob Kane did steal that character.
Oh yeah, he definitely did.
Yeah.
There's a whole history on that. But Harley Quinn isn't even known as Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is weirdly Barbara What's-Her-Face,
Barbara Gordon.
Yeah, which is weird.
That is strange.
Yeah. So,
well,
Brent says big TV news for me this week is that I only have to wait one day to see the newest episode of Taskmaster this season.
Oh yes, that English show that everyone loves that I've never watched.
Yeah, a lot of people.
I like Greg Davis, but I don't particularly get along with panel shows anymore.
I used to love. Was it?
God, they took a freaking
the
steam
Week?
into it. Mock the Week used to be
I used
good,
to love
and what was it? Would I Lie to You was also decent.
Oh, I liked that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just there's one person on it. It's Lee Mack. I can't stand Lee Mack.
Really?
I like Rob Brydon and I like what's his I can't remember. Mitchell. David Mitchell, is it?
I love David
He's
Mitchell.
hilarious.
He's so quintessentially British, and the humor
Yeah.
is so quintessentially British. But
yeah, I just don't
Mack,
like Lee Mack. I'm not a fan.
He comes across as being
Flat.
yes, almost fake.
Yeah,
Does that
I
make
agree.
sense? Almost
I know
like
what
he's
you mean.
a try hard. He comes across as being a try hard.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen his TV show called Not Going Out.
I think I've definitely seen a couple of episodes of him in a TV show, so I'm assuming it's
It
that.
would be that, yeah.
Okay. And
Um,
it's not my style. He's just he tries very hard, which is
yeah,
fine. I mean, that's some people are into that. He's just not
yeah.
my
I
cup of
think I
tea.
just prefer people with a comedy style when they don't feel like they're trying at all. Like it's
Yes,
just
that's
so
what I love.
effortless.
Yes.
You know,
Um
like you can always
Darrow
tell
Brain.
someone who tries too hard to be funny.
Yeah, I don't like that. It reminds me of people I went to school with who get
Yes.
yeah. And it was like, no. But Darrow
Yeah.
Brain cracks me up. He's an Irish
Oh,
guy.
he is funny. Yeah, I agree.
Yes. And stuff. Wow. Okay, I think we should probably wrap this up
I
because
think we probably should as
it's
well.
pretty late.
Yep.
And I need sleepies because I have a very busy day tomorrow. Yeah. Brent says I like DOB as well. Very good. Um,
EOB.
Darrow Brain.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, yeah.
I'll tell you at least. Well, there's two more comedians. Um, but the wine has toxified my brain and entered it. Pete, the two people who starred in Black Books.
That would be Bill Bailey
Yes,
and
Morin. What's his face?
uh,
Morin. I can't remember his
uh,
first name.
Dylan Moran.
That's it.
I had a moment there. I was
I
like, "Oh my god, will you shut up? I just need to think."
But I do want to say to our U.S. listeners, go look them both up on YouTube. They are great stand-up comedians. If you love
Yeah,
stand-up comedy, they both have great
they.
shows. Great shows.
So... I've watched the Bill Bailey Bewildered special
So good.
far too many times. I've also seen Part Troll quite a few times as well.
Yes. Yes, I
And
have seen
the
that
bit
one.
that always makes me laugh about Part Troll is where he tells the joke about him staring into the sink whilst he's high as hell. And then you
Yes.
get the video of him later on doing it. It just absolutely kills me.
Yes. I want to encourage our listeners and watchers, please go watch Bill Bailey. It's
Bill
great
Bailey is
stuff.
so funny.
He
His
is.
earlier stuff is much better than his more recent, but my
I
god,
I
those early
agree.
stuff is hilarious.
He's got a lot of musical stories incorporated into it, but it works. It's
I'm,
hilarious.
I'm the nemesis of the four. I am an owl.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
Now I kind of want to go
I,
watch some.
I had the Bewildered album
I.
like on repeat for
Oh
quite
my
about a
gosh.
year. That freaking album is so good with all the songs from the show, from
Yes,
the stand up. It's so good.
I have all
Oh
of the live shows ripped and in my digital library.
yeah, I think I might have to go back and watch them again now.
Yes, but Black Books is also ingenious.
Black. I am a bit hit and miss with Black
Well,
Books. I
okay.
love the premise of Black Books, and the first series is immense. It's so good, but it technically was the only one that was written by Graham Linehan.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Well,
all the other ones didn't really have him involved.
I didn't realize that. I'll tell you what I didn't.
Yeah, it was mostly Dylan Moran who was
I love
on the
him.
second and the third season, and that's why they're quite different.
Okay, but I do love Dylan
So
Moran.
do I, yeah, but they're not quite the same. So you look at things like Father Ted and
Yes,
the IT Crowd, where
yes,
the whole run was written by Graham Linehan,
yeah.
and they are consistent. Now, seasons 2 and 3 of Black Books were very different to how it was because it was sort of part written by Dylan Moran, a little bit of
Mhm.
Bill Bailey. They also had Tamsin Gregg
Yeah,
also doing a little bit too, and there wasn't one unified vision across the entirety of seasons 2 and 3 of Black Books.
yeah.
Whereas you look at it across all of IT Crowd, all of Father Ted, it was that one vision and that one comedic mind that was throughout the whole thing, and that was Graham Linehan.
I know.
It, even though apparently he's a raging transphobe now, but
He's
I'm not saying anything about that because
from
I
what
think he
I
just.
from what I understand, I'm not excusing him, but from what I understand, his wife left him for someone of that community. I can understand how that would hurt
It
you.
would.
I
It
can.
would, yeah, it would.
I'm not excusing his behavior. I'm
No, of
just
course not.
saying I understand, and it also doesn't diminish the hilarity of what is Father Ted and the IT Crowd, which were my first taste of modern British comedy. I
Y-
obviously
y-
Monty
Oh yeah,
Python and
yeah.
Fawlty
Because then you got
Towers.
things like Faulty
Yeah,
Towers, Black, and Only Fools and Horses. You
yeah,
know, all
all of
stuff like
that.
that.
We got all of that, thankfully. Well, I didn't see Only Fools and Horses until I got over here, and it turns out it's hilarious. But
It's still good.
it's really good. But I think that's gonna do it for us. Go
And
watch
I
Bill
think
Bailey. That's what you get from this. Go watch Bill Bailey. He's hilarious. Um,
he's one of the funniest comedians I've never
oh,
seen live, and I really want to.
oh my gosh, yeah. See, here's the thing that I regret. Since I've been here, now Belfast is absolutely perfect for me. It's a big city, but it's also small. It's a small town.
Mm.
I love that. So it's big city and small town. So we get really cool things, but it's very easily accessible.
Yep.
So since I've been here, and what I've missed is Ross Noble, Dara O'Brien, and Bill
Oh,
Bailey.
Ross Noble. Oh my God, Ross Noble.
I have
My
missed them
goodness.
repeatedly, and there's no reason. Like, I could just go, and I'm just like, they'll come back.
Yeah. The first set of jokes that I ever saw of Ross Noble was when he was talking about the meat flaps.
Yes.
Someone showed that to me, and I died with laughter. Was
Yes.
it's how he gets all these meat flaps hooked up to different parts of his.
Yes.
Oh, I'm not doing it
Yep.
justice at all. It
Nope.
is
You gotta
one of the
go.
funniest things you'll think you'll ever see. It's
Oh,
so good.
and yes, Brent, Russell Howard. I do enjoy Russell
Not a
Howard.
fan. He's one of the few that I am not a fan of personally.
I like him. Not as much as I like the others. Oh, if I could just remember who not Jimmy. Wait, is Jimmy Carr? Jimmy Carr's the host. The guy that
8 out of
hosts.
10 cats, yeah.
Okay, I do like him, but then I like. Oh, I can't remember his name. He's so sarcastic, and he was in a TV show, and he played like a dad slash husband that's just so put upon, and he's so funny, and I cannot because I've had so much wine. I want to.
There was a TV show with a comedian, and I can't remember like
I gotta
what the
look it up.
comedian's name is. It was called Outnumbered, and that show was fantastic.
I wonder if that's it. British comedians. I have to do this, guys. I'm so sorry. Let's see. Oh, great. Of course they have to do it like this. I forget that Tracy Ullman's British. Yes, I do love her. And Jennifer
Yeah.
Saunders. Oh, I love Jennifer Saunders so much.
Look, that show, absolutely fabulous, or Ab Fab. My God, what a
Oh,
show! That is so good.
that was one of the shows I got to bond with my mother over because they sent it over here
Yeah.
over in America. And I loved it. Let's see. Oh man, I'm not gonna remember his name, and I hate it because he's so funny. Satirist. Let's look. Oh, so disappointing. Bill Bailey's there.
Classic.
Um. Oh, they listed Russell Brand as a comedian.
Well, he has done stand up.
I know, but
The only thing that I actually liked of his back in the day, and it's weird because I don't like Russell Howard for it, but Ponderland was actually quite good because it was quite humorous.
Jack
But
D.
Jack D used to be great.
Yes.
Oh, he used to be good, but then he became so cookie cutter. It's just
Oh, did he?
ridiculous.
But that's who.
Yeah,
Yes,
but it was
I
also a
loved
similar
his
thing
old
to
stuff.
God, what's his name? There's a Scottish comedian.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, wasn't Ed Byrne, was it? It was Frankie Boyle.
Frankie Boyle.
Frankie
Yes.
Boyle
I
used to
thought he
be
was Irish.
immense. No, he's Scottish. Frankie Boyle used to be amazing. Like, used to tell some of the most offensive jokes in the
Yeah.
world.
Yes.
And they were hilarious. But he's
Yes.
literally gone on this crusade now, and nobody can tell like offensive jokes. But
I
despite the fact
saw.
he made his millions out of it.
Yeah, I
Go
saw an
away.
interview with him.
Go
Yeah.
away.
See I saw an interview where he was saying stuff, and I was like, dude, I remember you used to piss a lot of people off, but
Oh
Jack
yeah,
D,
you
old
used
stuff.
to be not the biggest fan of Jack D, but
His old
like
stuff.
his very old stuff
He's
used to be
so
brilliant.
just like so for, and then we will wrap up
Yeah.
because we're really throughout. This is what happens when Pete and I don't talk. We get all like, oh, but so American comedians and American audiences, they're not big on deadpan. They don't understand
Mm.
deadpan comedy.
Yeah,
Deadpan cracks me up so
I
hard.
love it.
Deadpan's where you deliver a line completely serious, completely this, and it's like the funniest thing you've ever said in your life, but people don't know if you're joking or being serious. Jack D, his old stuff, was one of those comedians where he could just completely like this and he would just deliver a line. It would be the most absurdist, sarcastic, sardonic, sometimes rude uh type of thing.
Self-deprecating at the best of times as
Self-deprecating.
well.
Oh, he was huge in self-deprecation. And I'm so like I'm so drawn to deadpan. It's just like
Mm.
whoosh.
Jimmy Carr as well used to be one of
Jimmy
those
Carr is
comedians who used to tell
exactly.
some of the most offensive jokes. He still does, to be fair, and they are so funny. One of the very few comedians I've actually seen live, and he
Mm-hmm.
cracked me up because
Oh, I do
when I
like
saw
him.
him, it was sort of local to me, and like
Mm-hmm.
when he was doing like one of the. So you know how comedians go on those little tours before tours when they're testing jokes out.
Yes, yes.
That's when I saw him,
Oh,
and he was
cool.
testing a load of material out, and some of it flopped.
Yeah,
Some of
it
it was
happens.
ridiculously funny that never made it to any other show because it was quite
It was too
offensive.
too much, yeah.
But that was probably one
Oh,
of the best comedy shows I think I've ever been to. So I've been
aw.
to three or four.
Very good.
One of them was Al Murray, and
Mm-hmm.
Al Murray is hilarious as well.
I'm
I
pretty sure
love
I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
so the pub landlord.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
Okay.
the very overtly British, and anything
Yes.
anyone else does like that's not British is terrible. And
Yes.
like I love the fact that like so the first thing he was doing was he was introducing himself and he was talking to the audience and he like goes up and asks people, was like, what's your name? And they'll tell him the name. It's like, strong British name, love that. It's like, what do you do for a job? And one guy said, oh, I work for a bank. And he was like, what bank is it? It was like, oh, it was like some German bank.
Oh.
Germans? No, no. Just went on a proper old rant about how like you shouldn't be involved with the
Oh.
Germans. It was so
Oh.
funny.
That's so good.
But yeah, I was just, so final tour. I got to see Lee Evans on the final tour that he
Right?
did as well. And Lee Evans,
Oh
my
yeah.
God, he is mad cat. His comedy style is very, very energetic, very
Yes.
stupid, and very
Yes.
funny.
He's
But
around here a
I read
lot.
his book, and the
All
reason why
right.
he does it is because he's so like he always wanted to be a comedian,
Mm-hmm.
like, but he's not very smart. So he always takes the piss out of himself because he's so unintelligent.
Aw. Oh my goodness. I'll
So
tell
he
you.
felt like he always had to work really hard to do it.
Yeah. I bet he is smart.
Oh, he's super funny, that guy. Like, it's a shame he retired because he is brilliant.
I'll tell you who I've loved. There's two comedians that I've loved since I was little. We're talking like 5 or 6 because they would come on TV late at night. And again, it's American TV, so we would get British comedians on
Hmm.
only late at night, you know. And
Yeah.
there's two that I absolutely adored then, and I still adore them now. One is Billy Connolly, who probably
Oh,
would kick me for calling him British, but yes, he's a Scottish
like Billy,
comedian.
yeah, Billy Connolly is funny.
Oh gosh, I love him to this day. And then Eddie Izzard, who I absolutely adored
I
as a
found out
kid.
something very interesting a few years ago about Eddie Izzard.
Oh yeah.
Crystal Palace fan.
Oh right.
Supports the same football team that I do.
Yeah. So there
I
you
was like,
go.
cool. Yeah, I appreciate. Yeah, but Eddie
Oh,
Izzard is a very funny individual as well.
absolutely hilarious stand up. But we are gonna
Not
wrap
my
this up.
favorite comedian, but yeah, it's still very good.
Yeah, definitely in my top 10, 100%. And
Mm.
also in Hannibal, which is weird. Playing an
That is
American.
strange.
Yeah, but
Okay.
if I'm honest, a lot of the people in Hannibal are comedians. They're American
Oh, okay.
comedians.
Yeah.
So there's some weird stuff going on there.
There's
I've
a bit
always
of an
said,
overlap, yeah.
Hannibal is actually a comedy. So, anyway, we're gonna wrap it up because it has been 3 hours. See,
Yeah.
this is what happens. Pete starts feeling better, and then we get to talk.
Full of energy.
I know. But this has been great. Thank you so much, chat, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it means a lot.
Wouldn't be anything without you guys.
It would literally be two dummies talking to each other and laughing at our own jokes.
Yeah, literally not even broadcast to anyone. It would just be us two talking in a Discord call, thinking we were the best thing in the world.
We're like, yeah, we're so funny. We should do a podcast where people can hear us.
That's how podcasts generally start.
Yeah.
And that's why podcasts generally finish quite.
Oh, exactly. People find out they ain't as funny as they thought. But
no, I'm not even funny. I just tell it how it is, and people seem to enjoy it.
There you go. But that's gonna do it for us. We really, really have appreciated you guys sticking with us.
Sorry, it's got a bit crazy.
It did get a bit crazy, and it's super late. Oh my gosh. Okay, thank you so much. We're going now. All right, we will see you guys next week. Bye.